Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is Cee, Certified Brewhead.
And I am Nathan from Nathan Does Beer.
And welcome to episode 178 of Beer Nuts, the podcast Adjunct series. Nathaniel, we are doing a long-awaited follow-up this evening.
We are indeed. I'm excited.
Very much so. Yes, it's been something that we've been trying. This year, we're trying to get into some breweries we haven't talked to before and bring some back that had been long overdue for a catch-up. And these guys really quickly became a fave for both of us.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last few years. I remember being put onto them, actually, from Will and Ryan at Rosewood. I want to say in like 2017, 2018. So like ages ago, they were raving about them. And not even for the beers. It was for the other stuff.
Yeah, and I don't even know that they were even doing the beers at that point. That kind of took a little bit longer, and it wasn't until early pandemic days that I first had a taste of them.
You know what? I think it's probably the same for me too.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot to catch up on. These guys are doing some phenomenal stuff across multiple disciplines of beverage, manufacturing, which is very cool. So we have a lot to talk about. So let's bring them back. See if I can do this in a nice, smooth way. Here we go. Guys, please welcome Cam and Gordo, Willibald in the building.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good to see you.
Yeah, what's happening?
Man, chilling. About to drink some good ass beers with some champions. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to see both your faces. So Cam, welcome back. I know Gordo, you were on the Link Up series, but this is your first Big Dog pod. So great to see you, man.
In the big leagues. Let's go.
Let's go. Speaking of big dogs, I'm going to bring out a small dog, actually, which is a big favorite of mine. I haven't tried this yet, but we're going to kick off with this bad boy right here, the Helles Lager. Gorgeous. It is a Helles Lager, I'm assuming, right? Because it doesn't say that.
It is. Yeah.
I was assuming. That was the big assumption. Tell us about this one, because I think this is a relatively new product, and it's also the first one that I've seen in like a 12-pack in like a box, like a cool
like a cool branded box and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple facets to this. So we tried this on the last podcast, actually, if memory serves. The Willibald Lager. At that point, it was export.
Yes.
A cease and desist later, it became Willibald Lager. But anyways, my lawyer probably advised me against saying anything more on that, so we'll just move along. But that was our flagship lager and 6.5%, and we recognized that although that beer was delicious, we probably in the long term would need something that is a little bit more drinkable, and not from a flavor perspective, but more so from an alcohol perspective. So we started racking our brains for, how do we do or what do we want to do for like a lighter beer? And it really happened organically. Joe, Jordan, and myself, we were in the Netherlands actually for a beer festival. And we had a little bit of time following the festival, a day or two. And so we were in Eindhoven, and we decided to drive across the border to Dusseldorf to have some alt beer, as one would when they're an hour from the border. So we went over and did that. And on the way home, we decided to grab some Augustiner Helles. And I had never had the Augustiner Helles before. And we crushed a few of those. At first cold, and then by the time we had been holding on to them long enough warm, and I'm like, man, this beer is the ultimate. And so we came back and we're talking about like beers, like, man, we should do a Helles. Like, if we can get, I mean, we're never going to make it this good, but if we can even get in this friggin' ballpark, like, let's go. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it. Even if you look at the can, so this is friggin' crazy, but the Hell typeface is the actual typeface from the original Augustiner brand.
Damn, that's awesome.
Someone just so happened to digitize that original hand-drawn illustration into a complete typeface. It was crazy. I did a Google search, and one search result came up if you can believe it. It took like days of searching, but one result, and it was that anyways. And then, just kind of pay homage. Even the colors are kind of a nod to one of their locations in Europe that they have a brew pub. So, yeah. Anyways.
Dude, that's awesome. Great story. Love to hear it. Let's get that in.
Yeah.
Boys, cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, fellas.
Wicked nose. Money. Yeah.
So definitely at the lower end of the Helles spectrum, like 4.8 is below where you would typically see it, ABV wise. But that's why we decided to call it premium lager too. I think like long term, we really just didn't want to confuse people. We wanted just people to buy the beer based on the tasting grade. And so premium lager is kind of what we stuck with. But stylistically, it's definitely leaning into that Helles style taste profile. And then the 12 packs, it's just like no one's doing that, and we just wanted people to have a beer that they like really didn't have to think about and just wanted to crush, So that's we said, hey, if we throw it in 12 packs, we think people will get after this, and so far they have. So
yeah, that's awesome. Other than the ABV, can you tell us what differentiates this from your other Helles see-through?
Yeah, Gordo, you want to talk a little bit about
that? They're pretty similar for sure too, but I'd say we've kind of slightly tweaked this one a little bit. Like we did a couple batches of see-through, and I think it's basically just kind of like an evolution of that beer. So it's not necessarily like super different, like ingredient or technique wise kind of thing too, but just like really small little tweaks, and then just kind of playing around with the conditioning and stuff like that too. But it's kind of just, I'd say basically just like an evolution of see-through kind of thing.
That makes sense. And I'm thinking too, like as I'm tasting this, like this is punching above its weight at 4.8. Like it's got the body of of something that's like maybe a full like 1 to 1.2 percent like heftier than this, which is pretty impressive for a sub 5 lager.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we wanted, right? Like I look at some of like those like classic import lagers that, a lot of our maybe parents would drink, and they have like a nice full body, but being relatively easy drinking and lower ABV. And that's something that was pretty important to us. We didn't really want to compromise and create like a light beer per se. That wasn't really the goal, right? Like it's just like, I want something that I want to crush, but I don't really want to compromise on flavor. I just want to make it from an alcohol perspective, something more drinkable than our Dortmunder was at the time. It was kind of the inspiration.
That makes sense. Would you guys keep see-through around then, knowing that this is kind of now like the big beer that you're pushing in the 12 packs and such? Is it going to be sort of a SKU that's going to stick around, or do you think you might phase it out or bring it back here and there? Or
I'll explain that a bit and also let you in on like a little bit of a secret. So the Helles lineup has been evolving over time, kind of like what Gordo said, and there have been different iterations, like slightly tweaking things, adding certain ingredients like oats and stuff that you may not find historically in a Helles, but just trying to have fun with it, right? Which I think we all agree is what ultimately what beer should be about. That being said, the pink rendition of see-through, which is the most recent, was brewed specifically as a pilot for this beer.
That's it.
Let
me see. Is that
So
what we got?
you have that.
That's it.
And you try that.
Yes.
They're extremely similar because we wanted to workshop this beer, but have it as a finished product. Not to let you guys see behind the scenes like the Wizard of Oz scenario here, but we wanted to really trial it and try and get some feedback in the actual marketplace, but put it out in its like new proper branding complete. So
Gotcha.
sorry all of you for becoming guinea pigs.
I don't think anyone's complaining. That's actually really smart though. Like using an existing brand, tweaking it so it's still the same product, and then being able to sort of merge that into something new without having to sort of do a pilot of a new brand. I love that. That's actually like just a great business move. That's awesome.
Trying our best.
Yeah. So then with the 12 packs, because that's, I've been this year we got Nexus, so we've been going to like Buffalo like every month, and I'm always going to different stores. I'm just trying to learn a bit more about that area since we're in Montreal. We're always in Vermont, and just didn't really know much about Western New York. And one thing I've really noticed about going to this different supermarkets and bottle shops is the packs, the mix packs. Like it's such a huge thing over there for like the larger movers. Do you guys wanted to speak to a little bit like the thinking behind doing that, and and why here in Ontario? I imagine it's like I can barely think of any in the LCBO, at least. Like there's a few, and they typically not year round, if I'm not mistaken. I might be missing something, but I'm fairly sure they're not. So I'd love to just hear like how that came about, because it's a very cool move from a Canadian brewery. I love it.
Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time in the US. And I think we're always trying to draw inspiration from them. I find the US market, things catch on very quickly there that are popular, and they tend to trickle up here a little bit slower. But usually what I've found when it comes to drink trends, for the most part, is they tend to, start to ignite and really grow there. And then a year or two later, they really start to migrate north. So we're always trying to watch and pay attention to kind of what that adjacent market is doing. And you can't go down anymore to like a gas station or whatever. It used to be all single cans, right? But it's really starting to change, where a lot of these craft breweries who have been around and maybe solidified their place in the market a little bit more are starting to grow their presence. And how they're doing that is by moving volume. And the only way to move volume is stop, nickel and diming with single cans, right? So, you see a lot of 6 and 12 packs going out, and we hadn't really seen anything like that in Ontario yet. And we knew that grocery and convenience was on the horizon. And we're like, let's try and get a jump on this, and let's just try it out. And if it doesn't work, it's just on the farm. If we sit on the 12 packs till Christmas, like whatever, it'll be cool. It's Hellas, it'll stay, like it'll be fine. That has not been the case. It has been flying, which is really cool to see, right? Because like the craft beer market in Ontario specifically, like there are some markets where like 4 packs are the norm, but I feel like in Ontario, the craft beer consumers really used to, at this point, buying single cans. So to see like, moving 12 packs at the door like crazy, it's really cool to see that kind of evolution in the Ontario beer space, But that was kind of like the idea behind it, and kind of where it all came from originally.
I love it. I love that so much. It's just like seeing, like when you go there and then you come back here, then you just sort of see the things that are missing. You could say that about any travel. Like you go and you're like, why is this so much better here? Like you go to California and they paint the curb red where you can't park, so you can't fuck up. Where here they're like, no, you're gonna get a ticket. We're gonna make these signs unintelligible. Like it's just all these different things. So even to something as small as that, like I found myself as well. I'm not a big bulk purchaser, and I imagine Nate isn't either. But almost every trip, I found myself on buying at least the 6er of the shorties of Two Hearted now. So I'm like, I just like keeping them around. So as soon as I saw this, one, I also love that it's a short can. I feel like that also. I'd also almost like to hear what you guys are like, what the thinking was for doing it in a shorty as opposed to the tall can in the packs. I got a bit of an idea, but I'd be curious.
I'll let Gordo talk maybe a little bit on his take on that first, and then I'll kind of fill in to like what my opinion is, because I feel like we're all different, right? So
of course,
I think it's definitely kind of like a personal thing for me too. Like I've always loved short cans. I know they don't necessarily do as well in certain markets and stuff, but especially for like lagers and hellas and stuff like that too, I'd rather have like a couple super cold shorties rather than just like waiting for the last third or whatever to kind of warm up and stuff too, and would still taste super solid obviously, but just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of feels different in your hand, and I feel like it kind of encourages you to try 2 or 3 instead of just having a single one and then moving on to the next beer.
I like that.
So,
I agree. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. No, I feel very similar. Like honestly, I think the perfect size beer is 200 milliliters. Like by the time it's done, the next one's out and cold and ready to rock. Like I love that. And I've always loved that about Europe. And like, don't get me wrong, like I don't mind a tall can, but like I've always liked the idea of consuming a smaller package size because it's always at like the temp that I want the entire time I'm drinking it, or closer to. And I think too, just like behavior, right? Like a short can is like a, or a tall can is like a short can and a third, roughly.
Mhm.
Well, like I could get someone to drink one tall can, or I could get them to drink 2 short cans, right? So just even the idea around like how we consume products and knowing that like I could probably get someone to jump to 2 short cans, but probably not 2 tall cans, was also like factors into the equation from just like a moving product perspective of like, we're confident that we can move more, especially in a short 12 pack, than we could in say a, short or tall 12 pack per se. I mean, we've never tried a tall 6 pack. I mean, nothing to say that that wouldn't crush. I know a lot of those products and SKUs do really well at the LCBO, but I think it's just like balancing that, like, what do we think will do well from a business perspective, but then also like, what do we want to drink? Like I want a fucking 12 pack of short cans for the product like this. Like, that's just what I want, So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What it strikes me as is like the pack of cottage crushers, basically. Like short cans of lagers are kind of the perfect cottage like deck on the lake beer.
Yeah, hiking or something too. If
100%.
you're going for a walk,
yeah.
they're lighter. You can fit more of them in your backpack if you're cruising around. More of them in the cooler.
And what's crazy that we've realized too, like out of the storefront, someone could easily buy, because when we launched this beer initially, we didn't have the packs yet. We just had single cans.
Okay.
Someone could easily come in and buy 12. But like once it's in a pack, now it's a totally different beast. Oh, you have a pack. Okay. I will take a pack of that. And I will also take, 4 to 8 of X, Y, and Z. It's the buying behavior is crazy. Like it's not what you would expect.
There's something different about being able to walk out holding that pack with one hand, right?
Yeah.
We want to
cool.
pretend like we're complex creatures, but I think we're much simpler than we like to believe.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. And what struck me when we were there to get the seltzers with Tiff was her favorite. Like, there's nothing really that comes close to anything to what you guys do with the seltzers, which I'm sure we'll get to later. But I love Nate and I once again was saying we typically aren't bulk producers, and I get a little
Bulk consumers.
Sorry, what did I say? Producers? Yeah,
you said producers.
Well, we're definitely not producers at all. But fuck, I'm not even drunk yet. I really respect that you've got the pack, because when I saw it, there were the packs in the fridge on the left fridge, and then everything else was singles. And it was like I love the fact that you've almost got the option there, and I think that's cool from a consumer perspective. Say I was in the Finger Lakes last week. I wanted to go to the States for the 4th of July just for lols. And I wanted some beer. Didn't bring anything. The only shit I could do was go to the breweries, and I was forced to buy 4 packs. And it's the first time in the longest time that it's all I bought the whole time was 4 packs direct from breweries. And I selected well, so I'm not mad. But now my fridge is the same stuff, and I gotta push through the same stuff, which isn't it's cool, but I would prefer to be going to Willibald and give me basically one of everything you got type of thing. So point being that it's cool from the consumer side that if you go to the source, you get that flexibility to get one of, but you could also get the 12er and walk out, like you said, walk out with that, and then walk out with a flat of like mixed stuff. But then I imagine, do you guys do 4 packs of your other stuff anywhere else, like outside? I guess obviously LCBO not, but like any of the independent, I guess everywhere else probably would be singles too, for you guys.
Yeah, we dropped the 4-pack thing. We just found like the convenience was like king, and kind of owned that. And I think the other thing too is like I feel like we're finally starting to like truly understand our true demographic here, and like we have a really healthy mix of like craft beer nerds, but also just like the guy up the street who just likes beer,
right?
And so I find that like, yeah, you get some of the craft beer nerds, getting 12 packs, but like most of that is just like the guy at the street who's just like, yeah, man, I like that beer and it's in a 12 pack. So instead of buying, Heineken, I'm just going to buy a 12 of that. That's sick, So it's like, it's not even necessarily that we're addressing the same market even. I mean, there's definitely crossover, but it's also just like accepting the fact that too, like, we're in a really like blue collar area, like, and some of those guys, they just want to have a fucking, I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype anyone, but they just want to have a fucking 12-pack of beer and they just want to drink it. They don't want to think about it, And so like, we want to have an option for that because that is a big faction of the people that come here as well,
That makes total sense. I mean, based on where you guys are, essentially, like, farmland. There's a lot of, we were cruising around on the way up just because we were like, look at these baller ass houses. Let's just go down these streets for a bit. And there's some beautiful places there. Like, so there's a whole bunch of like estates, but a lot of it is farm. So it makes sense, man. It's cool that, and when we were there, I feel like there was a mix. I didn't see anyone that I would have identified. I was like, oh, these people, they're definitely craft beer nerds. Everyone just seemed like they're just locally and just like to go to the cool, fun local space with great food and great products that appeals to everyone because they make everything on premise, including the spirits and the seltzers and stuff, which is super cool.
Dude, the first day we opened, we had like this opening party, and this is when we were just at a distillery. We didn't have beer yet, and like one of the first guy through the door who just like heard about it through town, because like that's how it is in farming communities. People just like hear things, right? And one of the first guys through the door is like a farmer in coveralls, like fucking work coveralls, like not like nice, like covered in manure type coveralls, right? And he just comes up to the bar and he's like, yeah, what do you guys serve? And it's like, oh, we have XYZ cocktails. Like, so we don't have it. And it's just like seeing this guy on our very first day, this farmer drink this cocktail out of a coupe, who's probably never had a cocktail in his life, was like the coolest thing, but also so indicative, I think, of like our demographic here and the variety of people that we get here. So you gotta play into that, man. You are where you are, and so
yeah, that's awesome. And I'll be very curious to see how it goes. Like it's going into grocery and convenience. You're saying, is that that's obviously convenience when it comes in end of next year? Is that the aim for that? Yeah. Grocery
eventually. Yeah.
Okay. And grocery, would that be sooner than later?
We'll see.
We
are at our maximum capacity and maybe slightly over that right now. So yeah, Gordo probably looks a little bit more tired than usual.
Oh my god. It's been remarkable too, honestly. Like the first week or so that we dropped the 12 packs, we'd go hop in the fridge on Monday and it's like that whole batch is gone already too. And they're just like, yeah, we sold X number of 12 packs on the weekend. And you're like, are you kidding me? That's like the whole batch is just gone in a couple days.
So did you what happens? Is it just out for a bit? Well, because it's obviously a bit of a six weeks type of thing.
Just brewing as much as we can, pretty much. Like tanks are always full, and yeah.
Good problems. So now, for people who want the 12 pack, it's the website or on premise, and that's it then.
Yeah, right now.
Okay.
We just don't have enough volume to supply much else, unfortunately. I think we'd love to, but we're just not there yet. Gotcha.
I know you had export in the LCBO. What's the and now I think you were saying, did you guys phase export out or just out of out period?
No, so we were forced to phase it into a new product, which is Willibald Lager. It looks very similar, red stripes, etc. Slightly slight facelift on the front. Same beer though. So we did that in the fall of last year, but hell, just like putting it on the market in the spring with 12 packs, was instantly a faster mover, and since then has grown to become a beer that we're out of a batch, we're selling through an entire batch in a week or two. It's crazy. So whereas the Willibald Lager was great, but I know that the ABV throws off some people. So we made some progress with it at the LCBO, but not as much as I think we would have liked. So we're actually going to be swapping that out of the LCBO, and we're going to make that more rotational. We love it. It's still one of our favorite children, but it's just unfortunately, you got to make room for the people that are performing or the beers that are performing. And that's one that's just I don't know. We feel like we have a lot more runway with that in the long term, That
makes a lot more sense. So that was kind of what I was getting at. In the meantime, is something going to trade it out in the short term, or is it kind of just going to like chill on the? Obviously, well, we'll transition to that convo in a second, but as far as unavailability of the LCBO, but the are you going? And if I'm not mistaken, I think you kind of can swap something out, or is that not the case? You have to resubmit everything.
Yeah, like you still have to resubmit a product, like if you're going to swap it out or you know change it, but they're a little bit more flexible on the beer side. So like if you have, like for instance, if you have a seasonal listing and it performs reasonably well and meets their sales targets, then you do have the option, or you can with a little bit of negotiation, swap it out. So I think that's the plan right now, is swap out Willibald Lager for City Slicker because it's in as a seasonal right now.
Oh, dope.
And continue to build that brand, because I think that from an IPA perspective, I think it's like a good one for us to lead on right now. And yeah,
that's amazing. Is that a good segue?
Yeah, but we're not moving to that yet, are we?
No, you're right. Never mind.
That's my bad. I fucked that up. I'm sorry.
No. I jumped the gun. That's not you, bro.
So perfect.
I know, right? It could have been. That's my fault. So then I feel like we're all pretty much wrapped up. This Helles, I saw Nate just like downed it. This beer.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, that's
so quick.
Yeah, honestly, man, like this is such a great beer, and the packaging is like just super attractive. It's just everything about it. I can see why you guys are leaning into it as like the next product, and the fact that it's moving that fast. This is an interesting thing. I don't know if I want to go too deep. It feels like it's like in the the world of everyone saying beer is fucked and sales are plummeting and blah blah blah. Like if you guys are doing that level, like we've been there. I've seen the tanks. They're not small. Like running through that in a weekend and change, like that's phenomenal. Like that's such an encouraging just story for breweries.
Well, that's why we it's like we need to get out of our own way here. Like why are we like sometimes you got to put your emotions aside. It can be really challenging. Especially for something like Willibald Lager, which has kind of been there from the beginning. And I feel like, honestly, something that we've hung our hat on for a very long time. Or, I mean, long time in craft beer world. But sometimes you just gotta accept reality, right? It is what it is.
Romantic. Yeah. You just go where the consumers want. You got to give the people what they want. But whilst also, you said something before that I thought was awesome, which was this is what you guys want. Like, Gordo, you explained your preference for this. I have a huge preference as well for short cans for kind of the same reason. If I want to drink two of the same, I can and not feel like it's too much, or you could just have so many more of other things. And the fact that that's what you guys want, I always found like, Nate and I doing this for years, like the best breweries or the highest performing breweries typically would follow their gut. Like we started this brewery because we love this, and then there's got to be other people like us, so this is what we do. And I think that's just important for one part. And then also you made this beer because you guys wanted it, and you told that awesome story, and then it happened to be that people wanted this more. You're like, oh well, we really like the other one, that's still going to be around, but now this is the main one. And that's where you're not romantic about the business side, but you maybe are a bit more romantic about the product. So I find you guys have a phenomenal balance with that, which is fucking awesome. I love it.
It was a really easy sell too, honestly, just with like giving out samples to staff before it was released, and just the first sip to everybody, they're like, that's my favorite beer that we make. So it was just super simple, just dishing them out, and yeah, everybody loved it right off the bat. So it was super dope.
That's awesome. I love hearing it. Next up, a little pale ale styles, which I feel like is such an underrated style. Lazer Land right here. This one is a gem. I haven't had this for a minute, but this is awesome. 5%. It's actually maybe Gordo, you could tell us a little more about the hopskis there, man.
Yeah, for sure, bud.
Well, that was Canadian.
It's been a
fuck. I love
that. Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know about.
Right off the set of Letterkenny there.
Oh, dude.
Nate, I love the glassware. Thanks for representing, brother. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. But so this is one of my favorites. I love tumblers, and your guys' branding on them is just perfect. It's so nice and clean. I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't do much, but
now your merch, like you guys got a pretty solid merch. Actually, you guys got some fun stuff. all the and even like the paper.
we try our best.
Yeah, they go different type of hats. Like the hood. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty reasonable.
We have this dropping tomorrow. I don't know if you guys are into soccer jerseys, but
Oh, there you go.
that's clean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Actually,
you
never
have
used
some
to
fun
be.
with it.
No. Yeah. Oh hell yeah! There's gonna be tons of. I think it looks clean. I don't know if I've ever seen a brewery do a soccer jersey.
See, I've always wanted to do one, but I didn't think anyone wants to buy a Cam for Mika soccer jersey. So I was like, okay, well, this is the perfect excuse, you know?
Hey, whatever gets it over the line.
When I was just at MSRM on the on the weekend, I don't know if it was technically a soccer jersey or if it was it's probably a cycling jersey, but it looked like a soccer jersey too, kind of thing. Where they've
black
got
one,
the whole branding side. Yeah, exactly.
I saw people.
No, it was a soccer jersey.
Oh, it was a soccer jersey. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
We were just there brewing with them. No, I mean, I wish I was that quick at ripping people off, but no, we were there. We were brewing with them on Wednesday. Actually, we're doing a collab for their anniversary. I don't know if I can say this, so I guess it won't matter now. But anyways,
our
they were
mate,
telling me about that.
Yeah, our mate Noah was telling us that he was hanging with you.
I think
guys.
you met him.
Yes, yeah. No, he had a couple drinks with us and that after.
Yeah. Noah loves a few.
He left at the right time though. It got pretty fuzzy after that.
As it does with Meso. Lazer Land. So this pale ale 5%. The hops there, Gordo. What was it again?
Yeah, bud. So we got a couple Kiwi ones too. Sorry, I'll keep saying that.
No, please don't stop all episode. You could do a Kiwi accent too on the way.
Yeah,
so choice brew. It's choice then.
Oh yeah, brew.
Oh yeah,
We
brew.
got some.
It's choice
Got some
says,
freestyle Nelson.
Nelson, hell yeah.
What else we got? Some Cascade and then some Waimea as well too.
Hell yeah.
Which is probably one of my favorite Kiwi hops that we use.
Yeah, Waimea is awesome. Hell yeah, boys. Get that in you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oof. Yeah, super tropical on the nose though. Gorgeous. Yeah, it's not like it's like a lot like compared to some of you guys do a lot of like my favorite haze is kind of like that milkier kind of like real like hectic haze, which I feel like most of your stuff is. This seems to be a little bit more laid back in the approach, being, and my guess is it's 5% supposed to be a little more crushable while still retaining that mouthfeel and everything.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Just kind of like a little bit toned back in terms of ABV and stuff too, but still wanted the juicy hop punch with it as well. So just like the hopping rates are still the same as well, but just kind of in a smaller format essentially. But,
gotcha. Yeah, man.
Yeah, make it a little bit more crushable for sure. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, getting tons of like mango, kind of like pithy orange. There's like a slight bit of bitterness in the background. It's this is money. I dig this. Is this a seasonal or just like is this like a year rounder?
So it's kind of like a seasonal now, but it's actually going to the LCBO January. Yeah, winter.
Nice.
It's gonna be a winter seasonal, and we'll see how that plays out. But yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we besides lagers, we haven't done a ton of like low ABV stuff, so we're trying to like complete the portfolio a little bit more.
Definitely, yeah. You guys are definitely punching pretty high a lot of the time, and that's
I remember it was hard to not get a bit fucked up on like when we had you guys on the first time, and especially finishing with where the fuck is air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually felt bad looking back. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, the first beer we started with was Willibald Lager's like 6.5%. That was like the light beer of the night.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
My bad. Sorry, boys.
Oh my goodness! Don't apologize.
No, you can't apologize for
fantastic.
That. It's always fun to try and test your liver a little bit. I know that the original pod we had another. Wasn't it like an 11.9? IPA, I think, on top of something else we're still doing tonight. There was like two.
I think we might have tried Dragon City Extra Sauce, which was like a quad IPA. I think.
Oh, the quad.
Maybe I'm wrong. If that's even a thing, but I mean,
it was where
who the fuck is Ronnie?
Yeah,
and that's a quad 11.3. Fucking crap.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So that's a funny story actually. So we have we've been fortunate enough to get invited to MBCC a few years now in Copenhagen, and we have this Swedish guy offered to volunteer for it. He's like, I've never heard of you. I love IPAs. What do you got? And he tried one of my. He's like, this is really good, sweet. I want to volunteer for you. I'm like, sure, man. So like, he's just sitting there pouring beers, and like it got to a point because like we're the only Canadian brewery. No one's ever heard of us, obviously, because we're from fucking Air, and he's like, oh, he's like, yo, you gotta try this. So he's like waving people over and shit, and like, who the fuck is this guy? This is sick though, but like, who the fuck is this person? Anyways, the next year we come back and Ronnie's our fucking volunteer. He's like, I asked for you guys again. I'm fucking here, like blah blah. And then last year we knew he was coming back and we knew he would ask again. So we're like, you know what? We're making him a beer. Screw that. So that's where who the fuck is Ronnie came out of it. Yeah.
Did he lose his mind when he saw it?
Oh, dude, he was getting his buddies to like take photos and like, yeah, because he's also like a huge IPA fan. Like that's his thing. Right. So we're like, Ronnie, we're gonna make you the biggest IPA we can. I hope you enjoy, and he fucking loved it. So that was cool.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome. Imagine not knowing. Yeah, big ups Ronnie. Like imagine not knowing, and then a brewery from another country comes in and go, hey, check this out. We're selling these beers. Got your name on it. It's awesome. That's so cool, man. And quad IPA.
Yeah, we didn't tell him either. So when he was like, we brought him a Copenhagen. He's like, I honestly thought he might cry. Yeah, I honestly thought he might cry. It was sick. Watching like a 50-year-old man cry at a beer festival. Yeah, it might be a first.
But really, first?
Maybe not.
I've seen that a few times. I love it. So yeah, Lazer Land LCBO next year for people watching and listening. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. So speaking of LCBO, might as well touch on that now. So from what I haven't even looked into it that much. I don't even know what's happening. So essentially, the LCBO is currently at the time of recording, and this is coming out next week, so it'll be fresh. The LCBO is currently on strike, and I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. All I know is all the stores are closed. The workers are pissed. Doug Ford's promoting some shit online. Everyone's mad at him. Do you guys want to break it down? Because I don't really understand what's cracking.
Yeah. Essentially, what it all comes down to is essentially like the union that represents the LCBO workers, or like a lot of like the retail workers. There are some there are also some warehouse workers involved in that, and some other workers in other departments as well. So, but essentially, what's happening is they're worried about their job security as a result of grocery and convenience being opened up. A specific sticking point for them around job security are obviously wages and just guaranteed positions. But one of the major ones, which is also very important to us, is that around ready-to-drink cocktails in cans being allowed to be sold at grocery and convenience, which that has been, the LCBO has been the sole, like spirits has been the sole supplier of those things up until this point. So you could understand how they might be a little frustrated by that, especially if you're worried about job security. You're going to give away probably your fastest growing category to everyone. I think there's a little bit of like concern there on their part. So they've taken the opportunity to, stand up for their right and strike.
Okay. And what do they actually want to happen? Like, what's their goal?
I think like the main thing for them is they want increased wages. Okay. I think they want a little bit more job security in the sense of like guarantee that, the provincial government is not going to be making really any attempt to reduce LCBO locations or jobs in any way. And the RTD thing is like a specific thing of note that they will constantly reference when they're doing different broadcasts, is that, they really don't want RTDs, ready to drink cocktails, going to grocery convenience. They want to be the sole supplier of that, because they really feel like that is going to be the downfall ultimately, I think, to LCBO retail outlets.
Interesting. So as producers, from both of you guys' perspectives, I don't know how I don't know if this is a touchy subject or if you got to be careful. So if I'm missing some nuance here, please let me know. But are you able to share your thoughts on this, like from your personal, like Willibald's perspective, like as a producer of both craft beer and craft distilled products? Where do you guys stand with this, or how do you feel about it? Or
Gordo, I'll let you go first because like I know I'm gonna rant, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Let her rip, bud. Let her rip.
Cam, you obviously know more of the ins and outs and stuff too. I'd say like on the ready to drink side for us too, like it's kind of like a source of innovation a little bit as well. Like we've developed a lot of different cocktails and just kind of trying to market them in terms of like ways that people would recognize them super quick. So like our tropical GNT, just kind of focusing more so on like a ready-made gin and tonic kind of thing. So it's like super recognizable for people, and it just kind of makes it like a super easy sell for them. But then there's also like a lot of side for innovation on that side too, like just making up different cocktails for us, and that can be like a really good way to kind of reach some different smaller kind of markets too. But then at like the same time, the larger one would probably be the cherry spritz for us as well, and that one we're just like pumping out like crazy. Like we can't, same kind of deal, we can't keep up with that one. It's just been taken off like crazy. So I think kind of like the hitting both markets for us for sure. Like I'm still baffled as to how much the guys produce on that side, and it's just like it's a really good revenue source for us for sure. Just kind of a bunch of different products and just kind of keep them coming for sure.
And you can't make them fast enough.
Same kind of deal. Like
Never.
The cherry people are just buying that thing like crazy. It's awesome.
That's sick. Good problems. Okay.
Good problems.
Rant away,
I
Slick.
think like listen, if I was losing my job, I would be in a similar position. Like I would if I was concerned that my livelihood was going to get taken away, I would probably do everything in my power to defend that to the death. Like seriously. So I think that the workers, they have every right to strike, and if that's what they feel that they need to do to defend their livelihood, like good on them. I think that the opportunity to extend alcohol sales to grocery and convenience, not just for RTDs, but for everything, is critical. I think that that's a really great opportunity for the province. And I'm talking not just from the perspective of being a producer like myself, where it's like, okay, yeah, like now I'm going to have like 10 times the amount of potential sales outlets. It's like, yeah, that's great. But like also as a consumer of alcohol, it's like, I go down to the US, like, and you guys kind of have talked about this too. It's like you go down to the US and you go to these sick bottle shops where the guy behind the counter is like curated the entire shop. And it's just like the most amazing stuff that like someone has spent a lot of time going that like on like building that like makes no financial sense. Like that they're not going to get rich off it. It's purely a passion project. And we get none of that. And it's not a knock against the LCBO. It's just like they're not really like set up to do that. And so we miss out on that as consumers. We miss out on the opportunity to buy all these like really cool, unique things that exist, and it sucks as quite frankly, as like not even just in Ontario, because as like generally speaking, a Canadian consumer in general, like you go abroad and you're like, oh my god, like look at all this amazing, delicious stuff that's available that just like is probably never going to come here, and that's kind of tragic,
Yeah,
and so like I feel like this is the first step in that changing, and I think that's a really great thing. A lot of the negative side that I've heard and I've read from people is that, well, this is just more money that's going to go to private industry and it's going to fund, people's yachts and it's not going to go back to the public. It's like, I understand how people think that. I definitely understand how you might be able to draw that conclusion, but the reality is not that. The reality is that the LCBO is going to be the sole wholesaler of alcohol in Ontario. So that means that regardless if it's going to grocery or convenience, it all flows through the LCBO first. So they're going to take it, they're going to mark it up, and then they're going to move it on. And until the end of 2025, that's only a 10% discount. It costs the LCBO about $1.5 million to run a store in a year. That's not product, that's just like labor, staffing, business, admin, that stuff, okay? The average private store of the equivalent size and volume is about 500,000. So about a third. So just going off some very basic math here, if I have a product that's only marked down 10% from retail, and it's going off, and I only have a third of the cost, well, who gets all that money? We do, as taxpayers. So I think public services are actually going to be very well poised to receive even more in the long term under a more progressive model like we're moving towards, like Alberta sees. Like, most people don't believe it, but per capita, they make more money off of alcohol sales than we do with a completely monopolized system. Because the overhead's gone. Everything goes in through the Alberta warehouse, and then as a shop or a bar, you buy directly from the warehouse. So they're just a warehouse company. They have like 50 to 100 employees. I think there's 9,000 LCBO employees on strike. By comparison, that's not even all of them, because most of them, not most, but a large fraction of LCBO employees aren't even unionized. So there's a huge overhead there that comes out of the profits that you make from selling product, right? So I think that, this is a step in the right direction. I think it has a lot of positive potential outcomes in terms of convenience and selection for consumers. And I also think that, if we do this right, and I think there's a real opportunity to do that, it's going to end up with more money in the taxpayers' pockets ultimately, and better public services as a result. So I hope that they follow through and really continue to go down the road. And listen, the LCBO is great to us. We move a lot of products, like Gordo was saying, cherry spritz for us. Like, we move skids and skids and skids of that a week. So we don't have any of that right now. And that sucks, because we're a regional producer. Like, outside of Kitchener-Waterloo and draw a 1 hour radius, most people don't know that we even exist or who we are, right? We're pretty small. So all that ability to service those, more distant communities, we lose all of that. So that sucks for us. So that part hurts us. But I think in the long term, overall, as a population and as an alcohol consumer and as the public seeking better public service, I think we're going to be far better poised.
Well explained. Thanks for that, man.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Once I started, I knew the cookie jar was open. It wasn't getting close. So I honestly, I just need to have another drink to shut up. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
No, dead ass. I don't know. I didn't know any of that stuff. I don't know about if you knew this stuff, Nate, but I wasn't super aware. I do know that, obviously, the monopoly here prior to COVID, and it took COVID to even allow independent bottle shops to be a thing, which someone I lived in Montreal for 10 years, I could walk to any gas station, convenience store at any point, and I know I can get, obviously shit beer at everywhere, but good beer at some select places. And it was so weird. Every time I come to Ontario, you either got to go direct to the source, which is what I would prefer to do anyway. But if you can't, the next best thing, the only option you have is LCBO. And that always struck me as just inconvenient. In Australia, it's more, sounds like more like Alberta. It's everywhere. Alcohol is sort of everywhere. Actually, not at gas stations though, but they had independent bottle shops everywhere. I think if we wanted to start one right now, you can just start it and it's fine. You can get anything. So coming here was just so what the fuck are you doing? What do you mean I have to go to this stupid one store that's only, only open until 6 on Sundays or something? Get the fuck out of here. It seems so ridiculous. So I didn't see any downside, but thank you for explaining that, because I have heard the thing about, what is it? I heard the number for LCBO taxes that goes through there. It's is it 3 billion or something that goes into the province through LCBO? Is that?
Yeah, it's 2 and change. I think it's somewhere between 2.4 and 2.6.
Okay.
Last year.
So not insignificant, but the change is not going to fuck that up in any meaningful way. It's not going into the Galen Weston's pockets either. It's like,
and it's
I think another thing people forget too. Sorry, go ahead, Nate.
Oh no, please go ahead, Cam.
Oh, I was just gonna say, one thing I think people don't understand too is like, the taxes and revenue earned for the government every year in Ontario is like something like $210 billion. Okay. So, what we're talking about here, what we're arguing about here is about 1% of what's actually contributed to the taxpayer. So we're clear, because like people talk about like it's this like massive contribution, and like 1% isn't nothing when you're talking about $2 billion. But like, let's not act like it's even close to the biggest contributor here. And when we're talking about RTDs only make up like less than 300 million of that. So that's about 0.1% is what we're talking about of what's actually contributed to tax dollars, right? So anyways, just for some further perspective.
Awesome. Sorry, Nate, what were you going to say?
No, that was a more eloquently stated point than I was going to make. So let's just move on.
Yeah, okay. No, that's great.
Sorry, I've been like knee deep in this shit for like the last week, so I apologize.
No, of course,
for just
of course,
having
man,
the opportunity to unload.
You're way closer. You're way closer to it than we are. So we appreciate it. Yeah, like that. The only thing I was going to say is that like just to really. Just kind of say like support this. It's one of those things of I'm gonna echo something that Cam said earlier, which is like obviously like 100% support the workers, like the workers' right to strike. Like when it comes to your job security and like when there's uncertainty in it, that that's no good for anyone. And it's an important, like the LCBO does serve an important purpose in this province. I don't think it's a good thing when it's like when kind of the things are entirely restricted to to this one single model. So opening it up, for everything that Cam just explained, like it's like there's so much good that can come from that. But the LCBO does serve an important purpose. The revenue that comes in supports public services in this province, which is very important. But it's like one of those things too. I would absolutely love to see more people in the province go directly to producers whenever they can get more money in in Willibald's pockets, or any other of your favorite breweries, distilleries, wineries, all over the province. And I hope that the changes to come will make it easier to do that.
For sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, and the other thing too, just a cap. Sorry, go ahead, Gordo. Yeah, no, please.
Oh, just to touch on, I lived out in BC for 4 years as well too, and like the kind of like the hybrid model a little bit, where you could go to certain stores that were just like purely focused on like having the best craft beer around, and so like I lived like super close to like a lot of amazing breweries, but didn't have a car at that point too, so I would just go up to Brewery Creek and just buy beers from my friends that were maybe like a little bit too far away for me, and then they'd still have like all the freshest releases and just like super dope ones, so I wouldn't actually have to go to the breweries across the North Van or whatever too, and just like a way to support people that are still super close by, but they're like not technically super close for you to get to. So.
While supporting that other small business of the store, the independent store.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who's allowing you to have access to them. Because if they didn't exist, then you're going to have to travel or spend money in an Uber or whatever the fuck it is to go and get that stuff. And that's the same thing I found here. That the independent, like Durand here is like where I get everything, where I get my Willibald for the most part, unless we go down to get it in bulk. But like all the stuff I get, I would rather pay. Coming back to the packaging, I would rather pay the $1 to $2 extra that Chris marks things up, which is negligible if you compare it to being forced 4-packs, which once again, as a business owner, I understand the business decision. As a consumer, I just prefer not. And then I'd pay shipping, and I get to save all of that by paying $1 or $2 per can, and then get fire coffee, and then have a good time. And he did me a favor, and now he's become a friend and did me a solid today. So like. That to me is
the math makes sense there for sure.
The math, right? And it's just like I feel like it's community. They just like the breweries are like, you could say the LCB, and I agree with everything everyone said. The LCBO employees have a right to strike and to protect their jobs, because that's important. I totally get it. But then the brewery and producer owners, also employees, need to protect their jobs as well. And then now you've got these other stores also that deserve, there are other entrepreneurs too. They're people who have taken a risk and they're putting the money up and paying for the product, hoping it's going to sell. They're going to bring the people in. So it's sort of this really cool ecosystem that's like moving here. Fortunately, I came here all the time from Quebec, but after sort of all the independent stuff opened, I blew my mind when I really actually saw it in person. I couldn't believe you could walk into a cafe and they had this incredible fridge of the best of the best. I'm like, this is, as a consumer, it comes back to the original convo, like in the beginning, like going into the States, the freedom of choice for a consumer to go to this store that, so I go to Brewed and Bottled in Lewiston, New York, once a month, and his name is Chris as well. Everyone's name is Chris, and he does an incredible job curating all of the stuff there, and he does me, so I've become friends with him, and now he does, and even you see things like that, you're like, oh bro, if you get any of this shit in, can you chuck that aside? I'll be there on Friday. And yeah, bro, or it's like that sort of thing. Now that's community. Like that's what I'm like, I want to support him. I go there every time because he's a good dude and he gets the best stuff. And I'm not going to Albany to get some stuff, or New York City, or wherever he gets, or Vermont, or wherever he gets stuff from. I'm like, that's the beauty of all of this. And like that freedom of choice, that's the one thing that was annoying about the LCBO, was that it restricted. And the beer store, I worked there like 20 years ago and it sucked ass. Like it was just macro stuff. And then craft came in, but it wasn't all the craft. There was only just some. Like maybe I don't shop there, so I don't know what it's like now, but I'm pretty sure it's not that fire. So I guess all this to say, it sounds like we're all on the same side here. We're all agreeing that like, cool strike, and I totally get it. But if you really, at the end of the day, you got to think of the producers, because the LCBO would not exist if it wasn't for the producers themselves. And the producers deserve, alcohol is treated like it's heroin, for fuck's sake. Like I can buy marijuana in the mail, but then I can't go to all these different places to buy alcohol. It's so sort of backwards.
Well, that's crazy, right? Like
so crazy.
Like weed was illegal. What, 5 years ago? You go to jail for even possessing it.
Yes.
But now there's 3 fucking weed shops on a street on the same block.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only buy my spirits at one spot.
Yeah.
Like again, that's not a knock against the LCBO. It's just like the model is just dated, and it's been updated in a way where like we haven't just taken a step back and been like, what if we could just make it the way we want to make it? How would it look? It's just been like let's build on the foundation that already exists, and then eventually you end up where we are, right? Like it's not anyone's fault. It just kind of like happens organically over time when you don't stop and just completely reassess, like, where are we at here? And
then add to that like the layers of government bureaucracy and just things like the master framework agreement that like force things to stay the way they are for years and years and years, and like nothing moves quickly when it when it comes to things like that.
Totally. And that's a shame. I remember during the pandemic talking about in Quebec, and the law that they're still adhering to today is from 1928. The prohibition laws, they only allowed growlers and cool ships within the last 5 to 7 years in Quebec. Crazy. Growlers and growlers weren't even cool by the time they were illegal. Like no one
They're
even
already outdated. Them. Yeah,
already outdated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you look at that, and I'm like, that is, but they still don't do mail order. But then here they do. So that pissed me off because I didn't have a car in Montreal, and a lot of my favorite breweries didn't distribute. So then the only way to get it was to either not, or you have a friend who could hook you up. Or fortunately, sometimes the podcast, and I was able to say, hey man, look, can you do me a solid, whatever. But it's just like everywhere across the world, it's like alcohol is still being affected by something that happened literally 100 years ago. And the laws are so rigid and absurd and bureaucratic for no reason. I hate anything that's not logical. It drives me nuts. It's just so ridiculous. And when you look at the weed conversation, it's sort of like, come on, bro. Come on. And then you go to the States and you're like,
dude, I'm so glad this is a beer podcast and not a spirit podcast, or else we wouldn't talk about anything else.
let it go off the rails real quick. Real quick. I was thinking, in the interest of looking at the time here, we just hit an hour.
Right on time.
Do the next one.
Yeah, I gotta dig mine out. Just give
Take
me a
your time
sec here.
Take your time. We'll wait to bust it out. I love this convo, man. And thank you, Gordo, and both of you guys for giving like the honest perspectives, because it's just something Nate and I, we got the new series we call The Business of Beer, where we talk a lot about the business stuff. We obviously touch on it a lot during these pods, but it's something that's just fascinating. There's so many aspects to the craft beer industry and beyond, I guess, that are just like, not out of reach, but sort of out of the conversation of the general consumer, and I just think it's fascinating to hear it, because, we talk to guys like you guys all the time, but you don't get all the info. Now you're hearing the real from you guys. It's so valuable. And I think it's really valuable for the audience, whether they're people watching or listening, drinkers, consumers like us, or whether they're in the industry somehow. I just feel like it's good to know what's going on and how the producers feel about it. I just think it's cool, and appreciate your honesty first and foremost. I think it's great. Appreciate you.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And it's been cool too to even, like, I have some friends up near Ottawa and stuff as well, and they're like quite curious about where I'm working and stuff, and just trying to, like, people that are further away trying to get our products and stuff too. And then you tell them, oh, we only have 1 or 2 products in the LCBO, and they're like, well, I love all of your stuff. Like, why is it so hard for me to obtain? I just want to keep buying your guys' IPAs or something like that too. So we're almost like losing revenue at that point. But
yeah,
and that's crazy frustrating. It's
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's one good thing though. The on the positive side, the shipping here could you do that in BC? Can you order from say Four Winds or Twin Sails or something, and they ship to you, or no?
A lot of breweries would be like kind of specific too, but I'd say you'd almost don't need to do that with the private liquor stores
because of how good they are.
Because they just have such great selection. And like, again, I live like 2 blocks away from this really dope one in Brewery Creek, and it was like I could go out to Delta, or they have like 6 Four Winds beers there. I'm like, that's all I really need. So just super easy to go get. Yeah.
Okay, but you did have the option.
Still have all the some spots would do it like kind of like we do, where it's like you'd spend over $100 and you get free shipping and stuff like that too. But I often wouldn't buy in that kind of bulk size,
right?
So it would just be,
of course,
that's big.
So it made more sense to come back and just go the singles from the store. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And kind of like you said too, like just pay an extra $1 or $2 per can. That's not a big deal, really.
Nah. Oh, it's not at all. I even heard I think I lost it. I did hear that it was technically legal for alcohol providers to sell and ship to customers in other provinces. However, like on a federal level, tell me if this is incorrect, but just like in the US, because I have a thing called a Connect Point in New York, where people you guys familiar with that? Yeah. You just go, you pay the UPS store, $5, whatever, to pick some shit up. And so many breweries can't ship to New York because I believe that the state that they're in doesn't have the reciprocal tax agreement, or at least that brewery has to go through some shit to figure out the tax, because you can only charge New York tax to someone buying from New York, for example. Same deal here. If you guys are in Ontario and you got someone in Vancouver who wants to buy it, you can't charge 13%. You have to charge whatever it is in BC. But you have to, I think there even has to be a prearranged agreement between the 2 provinces to do that. And those agreements don't exist, hence that not being allowed. Is that an accurate read?
Yes. Yeah, that is. So like,
there are some. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, there are some breweries that do ship interprovincially, and I think officially, like it's not technically allowed.
No,
but they still do it.
I respect it.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like
dude, in this economy,
and I've ordered from some of those breweries that are doing that, and I'm glad they do it.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. Like if I had the option to do everything in my backyard, sick. That'd be so cool just to be able to like live off that and that be enough. But like just the way things are and not knocking it, like, we make what we make. Ultimately, like it kills people. So like we got to pay taxes and like we got to do all that and totally respect that. But like it means that sometimes I got to do stuff a little bit outside the box.
Yeah, I feel like it's only right that you do that. I feel like you got to do what you got to do, and once again, in this economy,
we're not. I mean, we're not breaking any rules, but like I understand why people do.
Yeah,
like, I get it. Like it's tough. It's a tough business too, right? And like, I mean, think about how like feel like people's interests change so quickly too, right? Like it's tough. Alcohol is a tough business in general, right? So
yeah,
true.
And it's one of it's one of those things too where I'm just like yes, absolutely try figure out whatever taxes you need to charge me for it. I'll pay it. Just figure out a system, put a number on it and allow me to pay that, and take my money, figure out what what you have to
just
do.
Make it easy for me.
Yes, just let me give you the money and then let someone send it to me, please.
It's
exactly.
It's
people would be so willing to try that too. Like you could do fun little mix packs of like yourself, just pick from each province and keep on trying new breweries or distillers or whatever it is. And I think that's what people would love to do.
And I still think that even living in Ontario and loving the producers that we have here, like I really do think that we've got it so good here. Like,
truly.
And we've got some of the best breweries in North America, like no exaggeration in Ontario. And I think that if I could buy from anywhere in Canada at any time, I would still spend 90% of my beer budget here in Ontario. It would just be one of those things of like maybe once a year I would drop $150 and spend and get an order from Twin Sales in BC. Or or the establishment in Alberta, or Trailway out in out in New Brunswick, Two Crows out in Halifax. It would just be nice to be able to do that a couple of times a year. But I would still be spending most of my money here in Ontario.
Oh, dude, a life with a little bit more Two Crows and Jeremy's brews in my life. I wouldn't complain about that at all. Yeah,
oh man,
sure.
Yeah.
I love it. I was trying to do a fun segue. I don't have one. City Slicker.
Here we go.
Cam did it.
You don't need a segue. You need a streetcar. Yeah.
Bam. Oh, you just pulled that right out there.
That was perfect. Look at this. You should host a podcast, man.
Cam, what's the tagline on the tray?
Pardon?
What's the tagline on the tray that we use?
Yeah, so I like to amuse myself. So every now and then I'll throw just something stupid on the tray. So we put save a horse, ride a streetcar on this.
Oh, on the bottom? Oh no.
No, it's on the flats. So if you go to the LCBO and you see it on the shelf, if you look on the bottom, it actually says save a horse, ride a streetcar.
That's amazing. I love it.
So now we're into the thick haze here.
We are.
Yes.
We
this is the no fucking around beer. Yeah.
There we go. And this one's got Citra Mosaic, Eldorado, and New Zealand Cascade. Fantastic hop bill.
Yeah.
Definitely on the murkier side. You're exactly correct. So this is what I would consider. Tell me if I'm right here. Kind of like classic Willibald haze. Is that fair?
I'd say so too, for sure. Yeah.
And this has essentially now become the Willibald flagship IPA. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like some other IPAs would be upset to hear that, but it's definitely the one we do the most. Yeah.
Well, just don't tell them. We should be good. This looking gorgeous. Love the way that this looks. Stunning. The little separation with the foam, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Get that in you.
Cheers.
Wicked nose.
Oh yeah.
Money. Now, someone like this one's great. This is like super tropical, fantastic mouthfeel. Definitely got those freestyle kiwi hops that we were talking about.
I feel like it's the New Zealand Cascade that like that's really coming through on the nose there.
Yeah.
It's super punchy, eh?
Yeah. Eh? Every time we're gonna do a
New Zealand Cascade is cool though. Like I don't know, I don't see a lot of it actually like get used or advertised getting used a ton. At least in Ontario, and like it is punchy in this beer, which is nice. I mean, it's really it's just something that's a little bit different and unique, you know.
Yeah. It's one of those things of like New Zealand Cascade and North American Cascade are not the same thing. It's a wildly different hop. It's a completely different hop.
Totally.
To the point, it's crazy.
Still like familiar too, but just kind of like it reminds you of Cascade, but it just takes it in a whole another direction for sure.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we were talking about in the lead up to this pod was that I'm personally fascinated about is like the lifespan of New England IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
I've always considered myself a bit of a date code princess as such, and tend to prefer them a little on the 1 to 3 weeks is usually my little fun zone. I've been trying to grow and change because Bebo of Third Moon on the pod was saying if he saw one of his beers and it had 2 months on it, he wouldn't even blink. And I was like, huh.
I think he even said 3. I think he even said 3 as long as it's been refrigerated.
Gotcha. You got a better memory than me, so I trust you. So with that, I'd love to hear what you guys, if you guys have any, and I imagine every brewery has their own very highly specific thoughts about freshness in general, particularly for this style that's a fresh based beer. And obviously because every probably SKU is different, and obviously every brewery's canning line is different with the DO and all that stuff. But I'd love to hear you guys thoughts on this. This particular one is about 6.5 months old, but it's tasting wonderful. And you weren't even blinking as well, Cam, when you were asking on email like, yo, was this good for the pod? And you're like, yeah, man, it's sweet. I was like, well, let's talk about date codes because I find it fascinating, and I'd love to hear the Willibald perspective on this.
I mean, Gordo as the brewer definitely has to lead this conversation. I am purely background noise, although maybe strong background noise, but I'm going to let him take the lead here.
Yeah, man, I'd say a lot of our stuff kind of thing, like where Joe and I are like super big on process and stuff as well too. So I think that kind of sets you up for success just right off the bat, just taking care of like the fine details and stuff as well too. And we're like super particular about making sure like the transfers are going well and stuff like that too, which has been interesting. Now the canning line's over in the barn there, so we're trying to use essentially every hose we have just to move beer over, but just kind of like taking our time to do it right. And I think that kind of sets you up for success right off the bat, and then that might actually lead to a little bit longer time frame for different beers like this as well too, where like some people obviously will have preference to drink them a week to 3 weeks or whatever or something like that, but I've randomly like misplaced an IPA in the back of my fridge and cracked it open a couple months later, and it's like, yeah, this is still unreal. Like I can't complain at all too. So it's I'd say like probably mostly personal preference, but just kind of I think like the process has a massive impact on it for sure.
Okay. And is that a process? Is obviously you're saying the transferring, but is it more in the packaging side? Is that the secret to longer lasting New England? So just for this style, because obviously lagers is not really as much of a concern, and a bunch of other styles. But for New England, like, is there, as far as you're concerned, what's the big determining factor of of something that's going to allow this beer to last longer?
I'd say like kind of making sure we're like leading up to when we're moving beers and stuff too, like we're dumping hops each time and making sure like it's sitting on the beer for a designated amount of time, and then just making sure like it's not sitting dormant for too long, and just kind of more like kind of babysitting it and nurturing it a little bit more than other beers per se. But
Gotcha.
kind of like tasting it every day, and then like when it hits its sweet spot where it's just tasting super bomb, then it's like, okay, it's time to move it along the line for sure.
Gotcha. Love it. So then from your side, Cam, do you have any thoughts then on this type of shit, whether it's from the production side or even just like on a business side?
Well, actually, first, before like Gordo, what do you think is like the time period that you feel like you enjoy our IPAs the most?
Great question.
Oh, that'd be interesting to know.
I'd say like personally, I really love our beers after they've been in can for about a week. I find often like even the 2 to 3 week mark after that is when like personally they hit their peak for me. But then kind of like I said too, I've still had them 2-3 months down the line and been like, this is maybe like a couple percent less than the first can I tried, but I don't think the drop off is really that large at all.
But it's not like 20 to 30. Like we're talking single percentage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I've had some beers where like you try one, whatever, a couple months down the line, and it's like, no, I've had this fresh on tap and it was like phenomenal, and this is just not the same.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Then to follow up on Cam's question, then what's the top end, would you say? Like as far as what's the sort of time frame? Maybe that's a loaded question because it could be beer dependent, perhaps.
Yeah, I think probably the stronger ones that we do, they may have a little bit more leeway. We're also kind of quite lucky too, where like the smaller batch ones don't honestly last a couple months, which is a good problem to have for sure.
Yeah, get cleaned up.
So then it's just like a matter of once it gets to the consumer, whether they're just like tucking it away in their fridge forever or they're drinking it that week kind of thing. Like I keep telling my dad too, when he gets beers from Vermont or just super dope ones, it's like, not drink these like when you can kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't tuck them away at all. But
Gotcha.
he still has a couple heady toppers in the fridge, which not
They
great.
can last like 6 months. Heady's a bit, I feel like, because it's almost like a West Coast IPA. I feel like I'd be more comfortable to sit on a Westie for a lot longer. And I feel like the Vermont IPAs are closer to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's not like it's not quite the same as full on New England haze.
Exactly.
And I think so that's really interesting that process seems to impact it that much, and that's like really really cool to hear. Would you I'm sure you guys would agree with this as Bebo said that well, once it's in the can and and obviously it's stored cold on site with you guys, but in terms of some longevity to flavor and in these beers, once it's in the consumer's hands, keeping it cold would definitely be key. You're not gonna want to be coming on to to an IPA that's just been kind of sitting out at room temperature for a month. It's definitely not going to maintain that hop character if it's not been refrigerated. Would you say that's right?
Oh, totally. As definitely compared to lagers, even let's say if you left the Hellas out for room temp for a lot longer, it'd probably be pretty fine for sure. But I think almost we're all craft beer nerds, obviously. As soon as you buy the good stuff, you got to tuck it away in the fridge for definitely. But
yeah, no question. Yeah. So then, Cam, from your side, what do you reckon?
Yeah, you know what? God bless Bebo. I feel like he's doing everyone a service. I mean, to each their own. To each their own. I get why people like beers that are freshly packed. I totally do. We learned when we started as a distillery, obviously, and we learned a lot of lessons in liquid, and some of those were, as soon as you move something, it needs time to rest, decompress, oxidize, all those things that sound bad in the long term, and they are, but in the short term help the product develop into ultimately what it's going to become. So I don't like to drink anything fresh, whether it's whiskey, whether it's gin, whether it's cocktails, whether it's beer. Anything too fresh, like I'm talking in the first couple of weeks, I don't touch. I get why people do, and again, like I'm not knocking it, but like I like things to develop and mature a bit, and part of that maturation process for me is just like things just become a little bit more amalgamated and start to finally click into place. So for me, I find that like our IPAs, like after that 6 week mark for me is like, oh fuck yeah, like that is like how
Money.
Joe and Gordo intended, like that's what these hops are about. I feel like our DOs are low enough at this point, and to Gordo and Joe's credit, they take a lot of time and a lot of care in the process to make sure that these beers are going to be quality as long as they're refrigerated, because I think we're talking about unpasteurized product, right? So it's like, yeah, is it going to be like safe to drink if you've left it out? For sure, for like a reasonable amount of time, but like you're definitely going to run the risk like of oxidizing and changing the profile of the beer when you're talking about flavors and aromatics that are very delicate. Like we dry hop at cool temp instead of adding hops to the boil because all these flavors and compounds are very delicate. You totally change them and morph them when you add heat, right? So to like then store it non-refrigerated, like you're doing a real disservice to this, So that being said, like you store it at refrigerated temperatures, like I mean this is crazy, but like I found a Milk House, which is like a milkshake IPA that we did, like a strawberry version that we did. My dad helps package every now and then. Every now and then, maybe an unlabeled one slips out the back, and he had it unlabeled. I didn't know what it was, and we're at his place one night, and I looked at the date code, and I'm like, "This is 2 fucking years old. I don't know what this is, but I'm curious. I need to know." And we cracked it, and don't get me wrong, it was a little oxidized. Like I fucking won't deny that.
It would be
far better faring. Yeah, right. Like, of course, but far better faring than I actually thought it would be. I mean, it also has fruit in there, so it didn't really have a fucking chance. But it's still like crazy to see, though, a beer that's been refrigerated over its entire lifetime, and you would think it would be absolutely undrinkable, and it's not, which is really cool. So I would say that like I like to see the IPAs get drank in the first like 5-6 minutes, no question, as long as it's been refrigerated, like unquestionably. Ideally, I think in that like 1 to 2 month mark is like the perfect time. I think like after that, the beer's going to change. To Gordo's point, you see a couple percentage points drop. It's not going to be maybe significant, but like it's going to change. I can't say it's going to be worse. It's just not going to be necessarily like how we intended, how we chalked it up. But anyway, so that's kind of where I stand on it. I'm the 6 week guy. That's just me, but to each their own. Some people like them really raw and hoppy, and like, hey, that's what's great about alcohol and just consumables in general. It's like subjective. It's like, see what you love, and Nate what you love, and Gordo what you love, like, and what I love, like all different things, but we all love it for our own reasons, and we all are here in this podcast having a conversation about something that we love, but all for very different reasons. That's cool. There aren't many things that do that.
That's a good point.
Absolutely.
And you have that true choice. You're not stuck with anything. You can like buy it fresh and decide when you're going to do it. Or even better, you get like 4 of them and you can drink them slowly a week apart or something like that. And
yeah, watch the progression, right?
Do an experiment.
Yeah, which is super fun. And this one being 6.5 months old has no business being this good. If I did this blind, I reckon I would have said about 2 months probably. It's a little stickier, I have had this beer before, so I feel like it's just a little stickier, a little maltier, but it's in no way,
but it's still pretty punchy. It's like it's still definitely got some punch to it,
big time.
It hasn't become flat,
No,
not at all.
It's
aromatic. It's bright. It's still bright. I would still consider it. It's just a little bit stickier and sweeter. That it's not always. You guys have a little bit more hop burn, which is something that personally I'm a fan of, which kind of comes back to what you're saying, is drinking them earlier, like maybe around the 3 week mark. That's calmed down a little bit, and then you get more of the punchier hops, but still retaining that hop burn, which I personally like. And I think that hop burn allows it to last this long. every beer I've had that has a lot of hop burn tends to do well for a lot longer. And I don't know if it's some sort of
and and the latest iteration of Kiwi hops tend to provide that in spades. I think they tend to give that chalkier mouthfeel and which often ends up producing that hop burn a little bit more. And and while we're talking about specific hops, I'm remembering to see that that Troy from Badlands has told us before that in his opinion, even certain hops have certain longer legs on them than others do, because he was telling us that they were doing a bit of an experiment with some cans that had been sitting around in the fridge for months, up to a year and whatnot, and being surprised at which ones were still still had some surprising pep to them. I can't remember which hops in particular he was saying had those longer legs to them, but some in particular. And you can listen to Troy talk about specifics of different kinds of hops for hours, but there was even something specific on that front too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Definitely that, and then the strength. That's what you were saying, Cam, too. I had I'm not big on the huge ABV beers, so if I get them, I'll go and buy triples, and then I'll just kind of like your dad did, and you forget that shit at the back of the fridge. And I think last year I had 5 or 6 from all different people, and I was telling Troy about it. He was like, just fucking break them all. I'm talking these were anywhere for, I think the youngest was 14 months, and the oldest was maybe 16, 17 months. He's like, just break them all out and just have a little bit of everything. If it's good, drink it. I'm like, good idea. All right, fuck it. So I had family over, and we're like, all right, let's bust them out. They weren't bad. Everything.
Hey, family, come over, drink my fucking 10% beers. Let's go.
Come on, guys.
10%, baby.
You're gonna leave drunk, and y'all won't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah, no one's driving. No one's driving home.
Everyone's staying. Bust the couch open. I'm serious though. That's what we did. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I would obviously, they'd probably do a little bit better if you don't do that, but it's interesting anyway, and it's cool to hear you guys' perspectives on the longevity of all this stuff. It's very dope. So this beer, then, this is the one that's going to the LCBO. No, that was Lazer Land. Is this going LCBO, or is this kind of, because Nate was
this already is. Yeah,
it already is. Oh,
yeah, it launched in May. It's pretty recent. It's not that long ago, but yeah.
That's awesome. How's it gone so far? I imagine it's been pretty. This would stand out. Imagine if you're in Toronto, people would probably lose their minds over the streetcar, as we call it. It's a tram.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the subtle MF Doom reference in there too, and there's a few different things on there. But
what's the Doom rap? Funnily enough, I never got into him, but that's the Doom, the graph there, the green.
Yeah,
that's sick. You a fan?
A little bit, honestly. Joe's a fan. I know Gordo is too. So
yeah. You know what? Sometimes you just miss the boat on somebody, and he was one dude I just missed the boat on. I wish I sort of listened in the late 90s. There's sometimes you go and hear it now, and you're like, I can't. But I respect it. I respect it a lot. And it was even crazy that his family took 6 or 9 months after he passed to let everyone know, which is wild.
And
crazy.
What his wife just randomly posted one day.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He died last year, and you didn't tell everyone. And he's got one of the biggest, the people I know who like Doom, fucking, they don't like him. They love him. It's like a cult level fan base.
Oh, it's a cult following for sure.
I like
all the aliases and stuff too. It's super cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Matt Villainy and all that stuff. All the little collab albums and all that shit. That's dope. I like that. Yeah. I think that's extra cool just because, I don't know. Are you guys both hip hop dudes then? I don't know if we've ever talked about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
it's something that,
okay.
I'd never come across it in, when I say never, I mean very, very, very rarely come across any hip hop type stuff in beer. It's typically metal or hard rock or something like that. So, that is extra.
Who have you been into lately?
Lately?
Yeah, anyone new that you've gone into lately that you're Hell yeah.
That's such a good question. Do you know what? Because no one's coming to mind, there hasn't been anyone that's particularly stood out. I was going to ask then. I'll think about that while maybe I'll throw a question back at you guys. Do you guys have, what about your top 5? Do you have a top 5 MCs? Yeah, no, it's a tough one.
Oh man, it's a big one. You're gonna make me work for it, eh? Fuck yeah.
On the other
I mean,
side.
Kanye's got to be up there, obviously. Like, guy's a beast, like an absolute beast, like creatively.
That
right?
is a wall of Yeezys. That's all we got.
Yeah, man.
Just the Yeezys.
He's an animal. So him. I love Kendrick Lamar. Unreal. I love I'm mostly modern rap, honestly. I like no knock against the old school stuff, but like I love A$AP Rocky. Like
Rocky's dope.
Awesome. Think he's rad. Schoolboy Q. Love. And a recent one I got into, but I like really have gotten into hard is Larry June.
I heard the name. Did he do something?
Yeah, more definitely.
No.
Honestly, it's a new exploration for me, so I don't even want to say yes or no to that because I couldn't tell you the truth. But that's like he's one that I've been into lately that I'm like, fuck, I miss this type of hip hop. It's like kind of like a modern twist on like, there's like a little bit of like Wiz Khalifa in there, a little bit of old Snoop Dogg from like the 90s, and like it's a really cool blend. Yeah, I don't know. If you haven't heard him, I would give it a listen. He's solid.
I'm checking him out right now and just seeing he's from San Francisco. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. That's okay. Interesting. What about you, Gordo? What are you vibing on? Or do you have the top 5 or anything like that?
I wouldn't say like top 5 for sure. I listen to a lot of like kind of stoner rap and stuff too. So like Mac Miller for sure.
Yeah.
I got to shout out my buddy from every once in a while. I got to shout out my buddy from university. Toby is his name. He'd actually just won a couple Junos. It was on his 3rd record.
Oh, I know him. Too. Yeah. Nice.
He's a fucking legend, man. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, and yeah, just kind of same age. He's just been grinding for a while, and super dope to see him make it.
Did he win this year?
Kid Cudi. I think he won. I think he even won like best album or something this
2024.
year.
I was a juror for that, and I didn't vote for that, so I guess everyone else did. Nice. Good for him.
Crashing it.
Yeah. Good for him.
No,
and Cudi.
Couldn't happen to a better guy for sure.
That's great. And Cudi, huh? Interesting. Emo.
Cudi, Kendrick, and yeah, definitely a big Doom fan for sure as well. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. Nate, what's your top 5 rappers?
I'm not going to embarrass myself by answering that question. No, it's unfortunate. I wish I could answer that question. But I was not exposed to hip hop growing up, so it never really it was never something that I got into it. I think that's unfortunate. Like I enjoy listening to it now, but I just don't know the scene well enough to have a list of names.
I respect it.
Nate, what's your go-to genre?
When I was younger, in my 20s, I was typical white guy. I was mostly a classic rock guy. Now I'm a little bit more into indie alt rock and which I know is still pretty white guy. But I'm even getting into a lot of pop stuff that my wife likes as well. My wife is it turned me into a Lady Gaga fan. So it's pretty.
Lady Gaga rips, man.
Yeah.
She got some bangers.
Yeah,
I love that.
Hell yeah.
One of my rap friends in Australia put me onto recently, which is even funny. Speaking of pop, put me onto Ariana Grande. I never heard her stuff before, and he was like, "Bro, I'm playing." I don't know why he's fucking playing video games. But he's playing like some Fortnite game thing. And he was like, "Yo, I'm slaying," and I listened to her music. I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "So we went like on long drives and stuff. We're just listening." I was like, some of it's not bad. She can kind of go, and she's cussing and saying all this sex stuff. I'm like, I thought you were like a Nickelodeon type of chick, and then she's saying all this stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't let my 14-year-old listen to this shit. Wild.
Sure, you're not thinking.
I feel like that's pop though. Yeah, I feel like that's pop in general though, right? Like you go back and listen to pop of like, oh, I can't believe anyone let me listen to this as a child. This is
like there's like a lot of sexual lyrics in a lot of the stuff that we used to listen to as kids.
Yeah,
and like just
a little more
like in any top 40 that we listened to back in the early 2000s, like definitely like a lot of it is very sexual.
I feel like it's more overt now, though. Like, I think like the pop stars weren't cussing. Like in almost every one of her songs, like she was saying "fuck" or something like that. And you know how like obviously you listen to like I go back and listen to like Snoop from the 90s, and I'm like, this is so misogynistic. This is crazy. Like it's funny, but it's like, guys, relax. What do these women do to you? Why do you hate them like this? This is crazy. But like it was the rap, the gangster rap was very like explicit and stuff, so that's cool. But then the pop music, like I don't know, Katy Perry or some shit. I don't know what's in the 90s, Britney and Christina and NSYNC and all that stuff. It was a little more soft, right? And then you start hearing stuff now, and like I feel like the more mainstream stuff, like say Mace or whatever in the 90s, wasn't very like crazy like that. It was like still a little lyrical, whatever. But now it's just everything's explicit, and it's sort of like I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, and it's just sort of like, damn. These people are fun. These people are wilding out, you know. It didn't break me as a child, I guess, but still, I don't know if I'm having a kid. I'm like,
I'd rather you say that, but we're all here on a craft beer podcast having experienced that, so I don't know. Maybe there's something to be explored there.
Yeah, so maybe we should get them. Like, all right, listen to Sexy Red, and then you go. Fuck.
Something to talk to our therapist about.
Yeah, exactly. When I hope you're playing.
Seriously.
I hope you're playing on some crazy shit there, Nate. I hope you're getting him exposed immediately. Very aggressive sexual music. Is that what you're playing to your child?
No. Arnaud is getting very well versed in a lot of like French children's musicians, which is just fucking hilarious shit.
I guess it would be funny.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. I love it.
I guess it gets like, what about the Wiggles and shit? You busting that out?
No. We've not busted out the Wiggles yet. We've so far managed to not have him exposed to TV yet. Like we've managed to to go mostly screen free so far. I know that bridge is going to come crashing down on us at some point, but we've managed to go this long without it. So
good for you.
As a non-parent and purely an observer, that seems insane. So like hats off to you.
Insanely good.
I feel like that's like a tough, like insanely good. Like I feel like that's really hard in like the modern age where everything is a screen. Yeah, and we need constant stimulation. Like good. That's awesome.
Well, it's one of those things of like the very rare times that he is anywhere where there is a screen, like he becomes immediately entranced, just stops moving and is just staring at it. So when that happens, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm glad we don't we don't do this at home, because this would just be and I've got and all of my friends who have kids that are around the same age, it's one of those things of as soon as you kind of decide to let that house of cards fall, there's no putting it back together.
Totally. That's why Jess and I only go to beer bars without screens. We can just focus on each other and the beer, or more me on the beer and her on me, I guess. Maybe she's not interested in that either.
You don't bring your phones to a brewery? Is that what you're saying?
If I pull a screen out in general, I'm so bad. I am such like a squirrel person. You're instantly distracted. Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah. Even when if it wasn't for documenting the beers, I would be pretty chill about it. But then I got to document it, so you got to take the fucking photo, you got to post the story, I got to write the review, and all that. And by the time you do all that, you're the servers must be like, another one. You guys are just on your goddamn phones, yeah. Well, you got to document. I don't know. It's part of the fun of going to a brewery and sort of. I don't know.
It's part of the community, man.
Yeah, sharing the love, right? I feel like it's almost it's a disservice if we don't. Like you want to let people know where you're at and you're having a good time, and you know, even like some, you know, you get into conversations that way. I don't know if you guys do it or whatever, but if we're going to places, but you know, post about it, sometimes you get chatting with the folks behind the social, whether it's the owners or the social person and stuff, and sort of can lead to maybe they pop up on the pod or something like that, or at the very least you just we're like, hey, we're having a good time here. We're definitely gonna, you know, post the food, post this stuff, just to let people know that it's with, you know, there's some great shit. So it's two-sided, you know, but I try to like finish that and then like put it in my pocket or turn it upside down on the table or something like that. Otherwise, yeah, maybe we're all 2-year-olds needing a screen. Maybe.
I mean, I can't speak for the rest of you, but yeah.
Sounds like
we're all the same.
Yeah, right. Do we? I don't know if we were like. I'm just trying to be a little conscious of time and such. I know we still got a couple more to go. Did we really like? Is it time for the next one, or am I going a little too fast?
No, you're the adult in the room trying to keep us on pace. I respect that. Yeah.
No, you know what it is? These beers are too good. They're just going away too fast. Like this, really like City Slicker is fucking great, man.
It's
like this is not the first time I've had it, and and I fucking love this one. I've like it was really good the first time I had it, and like man, this one pops. This is I'm really glad that this is the one that became like kind of the flagship.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it kind of evolved organically. It's like, does it sound nice? Does it taste nice? Does it look nice? Okay, well, then, you know, that's the one. And no, we're glad other people feel the same. Because obviously all you can do is like use your best judgment, but not everything catches, you know? So that's really cool. Yeah. And I'm also pumped that you guys drank the old ones. Because like I tried them, like, I'm not gonna lie, I tried them like probably a week ago, and I was like, I'm gonna have one from that time period just to make sure that it's gonna be okay. Because I obviously don't want you guys drinking shit. But no, I also wanted to try old because I thought it would be at the very least like a cool conversation point of like, you know, this is what it looks like well into its life cycle. Is it still good? Is it still drinkable? And yet we're still here talking about like, yeah, like I would enjoy this if I drank this blind. Like I would assume it's a couple months old, sure, but it's still very much in the wheelhouse of something I would drink, you know?
Yeah,
and I
feel absolutely.
I feel like that gets lost a little bit sometimes, you know?
Yeah. And just one last thought before we move on, like from City Slicker here. So like the hops on this again were Cascade, Citra, Mosaic, or sorry, New Zealand Cascade. Let me be specific. Yeah, Citra, Mosaic, and Eldorado. And like why that sticks out to me is that like Eldorado is one of those hops that I really do not love on its own. Like anytime it's a like there's a single hop and Eldorado is up, I'm like, maybe I can skip that one. Like just because it's one of those ones that has a lot of variance, and it kind of like you kind of really don't know what to expect with it. But it can work really well in combo, as a supporting player with other really more reliable hops like this New Zealand Cascade and Citra. Do you guys have a thought on that, or am I weird on that?
I think you're totally right. I find it often like kind of accentuates the other ones a little bit more too. Mm-hmm. I've done a couple same kind of deal where you'd just use Eldorado and like one other one, and it just kind of lands a little bit flat kind of thing too. But oftentimes when it's like more of like a complementary one, it just makes the other ones just kind of pop a little bit more. Definitely.
Right on.
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think too, like the lot you get of Eldorado, like when Joe and I were at a hop selection last fall, and we tried a lot of Eldorado, and it was like I could not stop smelling it. Like I could not get enough. Like let me, not to get super sexual here and pulling my girls around, but like let me rub a little bit more. Like I just want to nose that further, you know. But that doesn't happen all the time. But like this particular lot, I was like, fuck, I actually love this hop when it's like when it actually hits the markers, it's dialed.
Interesting. So maybe batch specific, and obviously the hand selection is probably you're trying all the different batches and really dialing it into exactly what you're looking for in it. So That's
So
a
that
really good point.
that kind of really accentuates that like it can really vary a lot.
Huge.
Like lot to lot. Like I don't know if there's a hop that like that really varies as much as that. Like it really can kind of go in so many different directions in like in terms of the flavor profile and how much it really pops.
I actually think Mosaic is crazy like that. To be honest,
no,
like,
that's true.
Because like old school Mosaic used to be like blueberry and shit, and like hardcore stone fruit, and now it's just like stone fruit. Like blueberry is like fucking long gone. But like when Joe and I were trying lots in September, it's like I couldn't believe the variance. It's like if you didn't tell me, like I'd be hard pressed to believe that these are even all Mosaic. Like it's wild. Same with Simcoe, actually. Like it just might have been the Yakima lots from last year, but like I found that the variance in Simcoe was fucking crazy last year.
Just back on Mosaic for a second. Like Mosaic can even be fucking weird sometimes. Like when it goes a little hard, it can even get like kind of vegetal, with a weird oniony garlic kind of thing. Yeah. Like that can be really whack sometimes.
Yeah, then it kind of takes over the other ones too, eh? Where it just dominates with the vegetal.
Yeah.
Yeah, hops can be a sticky thing, man. It's fascinating. And this bad boy that we're about to bust open has it's got Cashmere and Citra, which I think Cashmere is a fantastic hop, and it seems to be a fantastic supporting hop. I've found. I don't know if I've really seen many single hop Cashmere beers.
I don't think I ever have.
Do you know what? You're probably right.
So funny enough, we actually that El Dorado lot that I talked about nosing when we were away was the same from the same farm as this Cashmere hop that's in this beer. So
okay,
yeah,
is that YCH or is it through YCH and it's like one of the farms?
No, it's through another company actually.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Okay. This is my first time having this beer. So this is Gotten Gains Double IPA, 8%. Since we're speaking, this one has a sort of like, it seems like a batch code as opposed to maybe a date code on the bottom. Do you guys know the approximate, since we're talking about age of beers and such?
Yeah, give me 1 second and pull it up.
I respect it. Very cool label.
Look at this one again. Like this is another really like gorgeous looking haze there.
I'd say stunning.
That would have been probably one of the ones canned on our canning line as compared to Northern. Do you think that would be the difference there?
So this was May 27th. So if you look at the bottom of the can, it's alphanumeric, so it's E2724. So E is the month from A being January onward. Yep. So that's May 2724.
So that makes it about a month and about 6 weeks, which is kind of Cam zone right here.
This is in the Cam zone. Yeah,
it's in the Cam zone. Cam zone is fucking. Hey, that could be an episode name, but we don't want to exclude Gordo there.
Hey, that one rhymes. Go for it. You got my blessing.
Oh, respect. Was this the first? This is the first time this beer has been brewed. Is that accurate? Yep. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. You guys, the doubles are just exceptional. I'm more of a 6.5 kind of guy. Like the City Slicker is my personal fave zone. But when you're busting into the doubles, I feel like you guys just like kind of you were saying earlier, Cam, about the bigger beers. Most of the stuff, I would say you from just outside perspective, super qualitative, but it seemed like the majority of IPAs you guys are doing are probably more in the double versus more in the 8+ zone as opposed to 6.5 and under, like for the pales. Is that fair?
It's chilled out a bit. We've chilled out a bit since the early days. We're trying to like balance. We're trying to bridle our excitement a little bit more than we have historically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So although we brewed a lot of big stuff early on, we still brew like a fair amount of big stuff. But I think that we try and taper it or balance it out a little bit more, maybe with a lot more pale ales and like single IPAs, which you probably didn't see in the first 2 to 3 years of our existence. So
letting them know you can do it all.
Yeah.
Boys, get that in you. Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Great nose. Interesting. I can't even. It's like lychee or something.
Yeah,
lychee's a good one.
This beer's lychee's a good one for sure. It's definitely going into that like white wine territory, which is wild because you don't see that a lot with cashmere, which is crazy, or Citra. Like, yeah,
you typically associate that with like with Nelson and and basically only Nelson, or maybe some of the other or some of the other New Zealand ones. But I don't know if I've ever heard that from cashmere before, but that's interesting.
Huh. And like almost like some like lime is the other one, like lychee, and like some lime in that, which is like such a fun flavor. I always find whenever I smell or taste lime in IPAs, it's just like such a like unexpected, I guess, flavor profile.
And that's a big and that's one that's been coming in big with the rise of Moteca in the last couple of years. And the latest New Zealand Moteca has been super lime forward.
Fire.
Totally.
Yes, totally. This is fucking great.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Oh, this is so good. The body is fantastic. It's like even it's almost like it's tripping me out a little bit with the volume of fruits going on there. Like there's so much happening.
One thing I loved about this beers, and one of the reasons why I want to share with you too, was because you have that volume of fruit, but it still had this like creamy body to it. It's like the fruit and the cream exist together in a way where it's super drinkable, and they don't compete with each other for dominance, which is really cool.
Yeah, you're so right. They don't. It's like a medley, and trying to identify. Honestly, I feel like I drink a lot of New England IPAs, but I feel like I'm more, and it could be my lazy or drunken whatever, like note taking when I'm just taking some notes or whatever for the reviews. But almost every New England IPA would have some sort of dank citrus or like mango for the most part. This I can't identify the fruits as much. This is hilarious and awesome. This is fantastic. Excuse me, like I definitely, there's some citrusy vibe. It's almost like, I don't want to use the word spritzy because it's too creamy for that, but it's got that like
zesty. Zesty is more what I would go with.
Zesty's a better word. Thank you.
Very zesty.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could speak to some of the other tasting notes and sort of guide us along this, because this is fascinating to me.
I think you guys are hitting it on the head right there too. I've definitely had a couple of these as well for sure, but I find it like almost will get a little bit more on the creamy side as you like get further into the pine as well. But the still, I almost get like kind of like lemon meringue pie near the end of the pine as well too. And but then like I find it almost changes each time you take a sip too, which is super unique.
Yeah, and I think that it's got a bit of above average residual sweetness, but like not to the point of being off-putting or cloying. And I think that contributes to the creaminess and that kind of pie like thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, like a little definitely the bread crust kind of thing too, but then still super punchy.
You know what I find interesting about this beer is like I find that Citra can lend a little like more of that like lime grapefruit zest, but for me this is like freshly juiced orange and orange zest and orange pith, which is weird because like I don't typically get that from Citra personally. That's not the profile I get. I get that almost mixed with like a little bit of like coconut cream. Almost is like where I would like where my palate leads.
Meringue.
Yeah.
One question I had on this, I was just checking on Untapped, and it said it has Theo Libra from Escarpment Labs. So I imagine that's the yeast. Is that like a Theo or Thio? Is that like the Phantasm type of shit in this? Is that the deal?
That's just one of their yeast strains that we used as well.
Okay. Yeah. Is it the fact that it was mentioned? Typically, it's not mentioned in like an Untapped description, so I thought it might have had some sort of significance as far as the profile, the flavor profile.
A little bit too. Like we did the terpene beer with Escarpment Labs as well, and then this was like shortly thereafter,
Gotcha.
where we just kind of wanted to showcase like a yeast that we don't normally use, but just in a like another one of their products, in a beer that we released like pretty shortly thereafter that one.
Gotcha. I love it. This is fantastic. This has got to be one of my favorite double IPAs from you guys. This is so interesting, and I feel like it's one of the most unique flavor profiles of any double IPA period that I've had in a hot minute.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic. On that note, I'm glad you brought that up, Gordo. The terpene thing in Ontario, it's fucking exploded. I feel
It sure is, and I fucking love it.
it's fantastic. I had Nate, you got it too, right? I think
I did,
the
yes.
terpene beer. Yep. So we had your terpene beer. It was the was it the lager or Westy?
It was the Westy. No. Correct me if I'm wrong though. So that that beer Terps, that was named due to the yeast strain. But I don't think it actually had cannabis terpenes in it. Did it?
No terpenes at all too. So we
Right.
were super cool actually. They basically just kind of reached out to us, and we're looking for somebody to kind of be like their crash test dummy for like the first commercial
Yeah.
pitch. And Joe and I were just like, hell yeah, like let's chuck it in one and
Why
see how
not,
it
right?
goes. And so a few of their homies came out for the brew day and stuff too, which is super cool. So that one was just derived from the yeast itself. We basically like treated it like a regular IPA that we brew as well, but so no like cannabis terpenes were added afterwards. So that's just all from the yeast there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Gotcha. How do you feel then? I totally forgot that was the case. Yes. How do you feel about the terpene thing that's been going down recently?
I really like it, honestly, like as a kind of a weed connoisseur as well too. I think that lends hand in hand, and I think there's a lot of like parallels and kind of like undiscovered territory to kind of delve into. I'd definitely be like quite intrigued to kind of keep on trying different blends and stuff as well, like even whether some of the cannabis terpenes would have helped to like accentuate certain notes, or whether it would just be like whether you actually get more of a profile just from the yeast itself. Or I think it's just like a really cool like new area for us to explore, I think.
If you ever do like lean into that and do make a beer with terpenes, Cee and I will be very keenly paying attention to that, because we're really into that right now.
Yeah.
The first ones to try.
Let's fucking go. Collab time. Yeah, it's from we just had the Wood Brothers one. They did 4 for their anniversary, and I know all my friends and Third Moon did one each side. And there's another Blood Brothers.
And Rorschach did one with their anniversary releases.
Yes. So like I feel like it's been popping up. And I've you know the interesting thing, and maybe you guys could even tell, I don't think I've seen it anywhere else, whether it's in Canada or above. I had terpene beers from here in the past. I know I think they were called People's Pint, a brewery that closed down over COVID. They did one years ago. That was the first one I think I ever had. But that was kind of ahead of the game. That was pretty fun. But I might have had one other one. There was a brewery in Vancouver that did it, and they were like a contract brewery, and they sent me beers at some point. And they did like a what were they called?
Or something? Or
no, like it was like a more of a contract brewery that I don't know if they actually ended up having a brick and mortar. They did one that had something to do with lemon, and one had something to do with like cherry or something. There was 2 different beers. Fuck, now I can't remember. Point being, it was like few and far between. No one was experimenting. It was like all of a sudden, like in the span of like 3 months, is like boom, all of these terpene beers. It's and I don't even know why it's Ontario. Why Ontario? And or is it happening in other provinces too? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen anything. Have you guys?
No, I haven't really noticed, honestly, too. It was like kind of like when we started this chat with Escarpment, and then it was like a week or 2 later started seeing a couple others pop up, but like not really that many others across Canada actually, which is we're super stoked on actually to kind of be on the forefront of it.
Yeah.
I think I've only really seen it in Ontario, and of course, like we follow breweries from all across the country, and I can't think of anywhere else that I've really seen it popping.
I feel like people would have like, if there was, it would be kind of hyped up because they would have sort of, you know, in this, even though there were ones previously in this new era of it. I feel,
was
you know what I'm saying?
Was it Four Winds? I think
No.
they did one.
Not that I got.
I know Four Winds did one. I think it was like with a cannabis supplier actually, which was super dope.
Recently?
And they like, I think it was 4 or 5 months ago, maybe.
Huh? I didn't catch it.
Have to look it up too, but I think it like Dank something, or I forget what the beer was called, but yeah,
dope. That's great. I was gonna say, if anyone was gonna do it first, I would have thought it would have been BC.
You would have, like just based on stereotype.
It was fitting, right?
Yeah.
Farm League is another one that did one, and they did one with a Westie. I didn't get to try that one.
Oh no, I didn't see it. Okay, that's cool. It's super fun. I think it's just been cool. And like, so the yeast that you guys use, was it intended to produce or replicate some of the flavor profile that you would if you added cannabis terpenes into the beer?
I think that was kind of the case too, and like we kind of chose like hops that were kind of like Escarpment was super dope on that front. They were just like recommending certain notes, and then we were just and then we kind of just went through the hop selection in the back cooler, and we're just like, okay, these like 3 hops would probably be like lend itself well to this yeast per se. And then that kind of just directed the conversation a little bit too, but that was more like from their lab, essentially just kind of identifying which hops would do quite well.
That's awesome. That's fun. Is that the first? I imagine you guys would have worked with them in the past, or was that the first time?
A few times as well. Yeah, we definitely grab a lot of yeast from them. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, that's fun. Go on.
Sorry, I just found the Four Winds one. It's called Blue Dream Hazy IPA, so named after a weed strain. But
that's sick.
And they dropped it in April, so
yeah, it is. You're
just a big nug on the can, and you're laughing.
Is that really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You fucking stoner.
These BC guys, I tell you. You're from Ontario, Gordo, right? And you just moved out there and moved back, right?
From KW too, and then I moved out. I was out on vacation actually, and just started applying for jobs, and then got hired, and ended up sticking around for 4 years. So,
gotcha.
Just kind of how she goes.
Hey mate, yeah, bud. Oh yeah. I love that shit. Is that you, Cam?
Yeah, that is me. Sorry, I'm trying to restrain, but I'm too much of an animal. I apologize.
No, man, animal that shit.
Oh my god, don't.
Yeah,
I love this beer. This beer is spectacular, boys.
This is great. This is great.
This one is this Is this so? This is the first time you've done it. Is this? I imagine the response has been as positive as the we're all reacting right now. It's and that might mean that it's going to come back at some point.
Yeah, I think that people have been enjoying it, and then they quickly ask, "Hey, when's Marquee coming back?" Yeah, or something like that. You know, like it's always. I don't know. I feel like people love it, but they love it as much as the next thing. So I don't know. We'll see. You know, it's hard.
How do you guys make that decision on whether to make because you guys have a cool model? I feel like I don't know if we talked about this even in the last one, but one thing I've always loved about what you guys do is that you have like sort of like the quasi flagships as such, but then you have just like you just keep bringing the regulars back, and you do some one-offs, which is awesome and it's fun, and then the other ones you'll pick, maybe people will really love or the team will love it, and then you'll iterate and keep tweaking and perfecting and bringing that back 2-3 times a year or something. How do how do you make those decisions over which SKUs become, 2-3 times a year joints, or whether they're one-offs?
I feel like we have a pretty good pulse on like what, again, just like what we enjoy and what we like and what we think works. And I think like we drink enough beer where it's like, okay, the liquid's solid. Is the packaging solid? Is it the complete package or not? How does it sell? How does it sell comparatively? You look at seasonal variables, all that, you get on all that boring, business side of shit. But like, I think realistically, you have a pretty good idea after the first run or two if something's going to work or not, just based off of, the response. And also too, just like, this sounds very like qualitative, but just like your gut, like I think you consume enough beer and enough like products where it's like, yeah, I think this has what it takes, to be something that's more consistent versus whatever. So we take a little bit of that, and I think you blend it with like, okay, we've released 40 new beers this year. We need to fucking show. Well, what can we bring back? Like, and kind of balancing those two worlds. It's like, yeah. I wish it was more like strategic than that, but that's just like kind of how it is. Like, yeah,
It makes sense.
It's a little bit more fluid.
It's kind of cool to do it that way, though, right? Like if you go by gut. I know, I imagine this worked for you guys a bunch other time. Like you guys wanted to do the Hellas, and then look what happened. Now it's like your powerhouse like that, like just because you drank it in Germany and you're like, hey, this is the shit. Let's do something like that, and then it ended up replacing the other fave, and then here you are. So I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And maybe that's kind of that maybe that's the art side of beer. There's the science in that, but that's part of the art, and the art that goes into the business, where it's sort of like, what do we want? Like, what do we feel good about? And you can kind of just like get that, it doesn't always have to do with numbers, perhaps, which is kind of cool.
No,
and maybe that's the beauty of. Go.
Yeah, I think you just got to trial it. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're a small scale brewery, ultimately. Like, let's eliminate everything else and just say, like, we are a very small producer. If we are not experimenting, we're probably not doing it right.
That's a good
end of story.
Yeah,
like and that's like, and part of the experimentation process is like, okay, this seemed to work the first time, let's re-release it in this time of year with these products adjacent to it. How does it perform? Let's release it with 2 IPAs at the same time, let's see how it performs. Let's release it with a double and a triple, in the weeks following, how does it perform? Let's do a new beer this time. And it's just like constantly just like endless fucking tweaking and just like trying and testing and modifying and seeing like if you can pick up any little bit of additional data that supports like, okay, this has what it takes or this doesn't. Like we're just constantly trying to get it wrong so we can get it right,
I love that.
That's a fucking bar, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Write that down because that might even be the clip right there. On that note, one of the things that I love that you guys do recently is the double purple seltzer. And for people who don't know, I don't know why that's funny, but it was sick. And the reason I think it's sick is not because it's high ABV or like anything, but I thought that like you're innovating on seltzers in a way that you do in beer. And I was like, this is that. Honestly, it was when I told Tiff, because like I said earlier, she the biggest fan of the seltzers. She's like, let's fucking go. I'm like, let's go on the weekend. She's like, all right, cool. Like immediately that was like the impetus for wanting to go back. She wanted to go anyway, but that got her extra excited. And I was like, oh, this is how seriously you guys are taking the seltzers. Like you're doing them so well that you're treating them like the beer products and doing a double version. So, I guess it's 5 to 8%. So it's not even like a crazy jump, but it was more to me that I loved about it was the same sort of ethos as the beer. I wonder if you guys could speak to why you did that. Obviously the purple seltzer, if people don't know, is like kind of like a great flavor one that's in LCBO as well. and doing this double one, my guess was, I was like, all right, well, the purple one's doing so well, let's ramp it up a bit and, you know, give people something fun for the summer, that's of the flavor that's the most popular. But yeah, I'd love to just hear where that came from, because I just thought that was so sick, so smart and so clever, and just like a great branding thing, and also a great product.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it all kind of ties back to beer. Like Purple, the original Purple, came about in doing a collaboration with the Moranas and the bar that they own, Bar Volo, Area Volo, as the rest of us know. And so we did a collaboration with them on the beer side, and we're like, yo, we should do a collaboration on the spirit side too. And they're like, okay, cool. Like, and we just started releasing seltzers at that point. And they were like, I think it was Julian, was like, I really want to see a grape seltzer. Like, I can fuck with grape. That'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. So we started playing around, but like, I think I remember making it thinking like, I fucking love this and this is really cool. But like at the end of the day, like it's great. How many people are going to be into it? But like, one thing that I still to this day cannot explain is like how many closet grape lovers there are out there. Like it's actually crazy to see. Like we have bars, and Hamilton specifically, man. I don't know what's in the water in Hamilton, but they seem to be hooked on Purple. I don't know why. I'm pumped. I'm very grateful, but like I don't get it at all. But it's sick. But like we have bars in Hamilton that move like 8 kegs. Actually, just straight up. Call it to Far Side in Hamilton. They move 8 kegs. 30-liter kegs of Purple seltzer a week.
Jesus Christ.
It goes well with the
that
food.
Ferment.
Yeah.
Let that ferment for a second, right? Like that's absurd. Anyways, so that was cool. And then for the reason I told the whole story is because like for Volo's, or for like the 2-year anniversary of releasing that product, it was like, okay, like we should do something with Volo again. And Julian's like, we should do like a higher percentage. I'm like, okay, done. So I started tweaking, playing around with it, and we did a higher ABV, and it ended up being like double Purple. So it just kind of came out of nowhere, but it was like, it just seemed like a good fit. It was the right fit again for like what we run at the time, what we thought was hilarious. And it's funny just to see other people pick up on it, because like it's something that legitimately started as kind of like a what if, like kind of like a joke and just fucking around, and ended up being something that people are like, why don't you bring a double Purple back? It's like, man, that's an 8% seltzer. I don't know. That's sick. I'm like glad you love it, but I'm shocked at the same time.
That's so cool. And this was the first time, or this was not the first time that you did it?
This is the second time we released it. Yeah, we released it like a year or 2 ago. Yeah.
Okay, dude, it's awesome. It's like, would that be something that you would you continue to approach the rest of the seltzer brands with a similar thing, like maybe orange lime seltzer and you mash 2 of them up, or strawberry fruit punch? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, or is it sort of more like you're not really trying to do that so much, you just there's like 6 available, I think is the main one right now, which is significant already.
I'm not going to pretend like there's a really hard plan to this. Like I would love to sit here and pretend like we're that organized, and I may have seemed very business-like when we started this conversation, and I swear it's just not the fact that we've had 4 beers already, but the reality is just like we tend to do what feels right, and when it feels right to do something different and do something cool, and we get the right opportunity and something opens up, we start fucking around and trying different things. And I think that like the seltzer game is something really interesting to us. Like it's a business I never thought I would be in, to be honest. And here we are. And so like, I don't really know. I don't really know where we go from here. Does that mean like double orange is on the horizon? Probably not, but who knows, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to close any of those doors, but I don't know. I don't know what the future holds either,
I love that. I think it's just fun. I just like, mostly because one, it's just fun. So whatever, like that's the end of story, but also no one else is doing it. Like I've never even in the States when we remember last year when we went to Miami for a month and that was at around a time Tiff sort of decided that she didn't want to drink too much beer, just calories, that was it. So she was just like, all right, let me start rocking seltzers. And almost every brewery in America had some sort of like draft cocktails, seltzers, wine that they make, like Burial make their own wine, and other half do now too, like shit like that. So it was like super easy to get, but I didn't ever see any sort of like innovation like that. I just think that is like, it just sort of like, it shows that like this is not a joke for us. Like seltzers, y'all fuck with this, all right, we're going to treat it like the rest of our products and approach it with the same excitement and innovation and sort of ingenuity and do something cool and fun. I mean, Double, you could argue it's not the most crazy, but like no one else has done that in seltzer. It's always just been like, these are the 4 flavors and that's what you're getting forever type shit. Maybe we'll introduce a 5th, but you guys are doing this. I just think it's like, it's like a nod of respect to that product line that has done so well for you guys, and just being like, all right, we're going to keep taking this further and keeping people interested. Did Farside buy some Double Purple? I hope so.
I mean, I'm sure they have. Shamefully, I don't know the answer to that, and I should. So my bad, Farside. I apologize. But to your point, though, I think that it's like, it's also a disrespect for that in a way, because, and I mean that in the most positive sense, in that we just try and have fun with seltzer. I mean, let's be honest. Like for us, like we're not doing fermented seltzers, right? We're doing like vodka based. So for us, it's like, it's vodka, water, and flavoring. Like, let's not complicate this. Let's not make this something it's not. Let's just fucking have fun with it, and like, let's not dress this up like it's something special. Like it's great. It may be great and it may taste great and people might like to drink it, but it's like, we're vodka sodas here. Okay, let's not get crazy, right? So it's just like, okay, well, like if I was drinking that, what would I want to drink? And it's like, we just rely on a lot of nostalgic flavors. So like our key lime, for instance, right? Like that's actually key lime pie flavor, but I didn't think anyone would drink key lime pie seltzer, so we just call it key lime. But but that's the actual flavor. So we try it. It's like, it's got the crust and everything. It's very nostalgic flavor. And purple, it's like, okay, well, like if I wanted to drink purple and it was grape, what would that be like? Well, like as a kid, I fucking loved Welch's Ripped. Welch's grape juice is awesome. Okay, well, like it's got to taste like Welch's grape juice then. It's got to take like a purple freezy meets Welch's grape juice and stuff. That's what it has to taste like. It's just like, in my mind as a child, that's what like I would envision purple tasting like. So that's what it's got to be. And we just have approached that to like all the flavors of like drawing off of very nostalgic flavors and memories to create those flavors. And I think that's why they've done very well for us, because I think they taps into, and maybe I'm like totally wrong in this, but like my assumption has always been it's kind of tapped into that in other people as well.
It must. Like, that wasn't a thing in Australia, but I was aware of it. We had like Ribena, which was like black currant, but nothing really like grape.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the color purple I can see, because Farside, they have one in Montreal as well. And it was, like, I haven't actually been there, but I've had the food. So it's like, and I understand it's like a bit of a club type of vibe. So I can see that if you're going there and you're going to have all their like crazy fried chicken, all the stuff that they do, wouldn't it be sick to have this fucking fun purple drink with it? Like, it makes sense for that. And if it tastes like something that is nostalgic, there's like 2 factors. Like, it's nostalgic if you try it, but then when you're looking on the surface to purchase, hey, this is a purple ass fucking drink, this is sick, this is a little cool in my glass at the party or whatever. And I don't know, sometimes that's the novelty people are looking for, because that's, I don't know, it's just fun. And if you're going to drink alcohol, you might as well have some fun.
Isn't it supposed to be fun?
Yeah,
we get lit, right? Jeez, have fun.
Isn't that the point?
That was always our argument when people got mad at all the we always joke about the innovation, like, with like just lactose back in like the milkshake IPA peak of like 2017. Like,
holy shit, did people get riled up about that?
Oh man, I feel like we talked about that last time too.
We did because we were big fans of Milk House, because that was milkshake IPAs were already even a little passé at that point, but it was still closer to it then.
Totally.
Even those of
Oh, dude, I mean, if
they
were,
I remember putting like apple puree and like flour and shit in
Yeah.
like, way back too. I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now? This is bullshit.
Like,
I still
it's
have a burn
ridiculous.
on my arm from one of those too, actually. But
What do you mean, from the actual, like, the puree type shit? Or
from mixing the fucking apple puree, I have like a steam burn on my forearm from it. So, I hate those beers.
yeah,
you got a milkshake.
you've been
factory.
graced by the milkshake gods, man.
Oh, dude. Still there too.
I'm jealous. I'll take one of those
Oh,
burns.
no.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the innovation is such a, like, it was such a big topic a while ago. We used to talk about it. We even had a Twitter account. We still have it. We don't use it anymore, like, called Team Lactose, because people got so mad, and it never like computed. I feel like unless you were into beer, like say I've been into hip hop since I was like 11 years old. So it's the vast majority of my life. So when it became more mainstream, it wasn't mainstream. Nobody listened to it. I got shit my whole life. I'm very protective of hip hop, and then when it became like mainstream, I'm an old man. I'm a bit more chill now, but I'm a very, like, you know, fucking, what is it? Old man shakes fist to the sky type shit about, like, this is how hip hop should be type of thing. I'm cool with, you know, I like Rocky and all that type of stuff, but like Sexy Red is the devil has come down and ruining everything. So like when it comes to beer, I don't have that hang up. I got into beer in 2011 properly. So I went through the normal color wheel and Belgian and blah blah blah, then discovered haze, like, you know, 4, 5, 6 years into the journey. So I'm like, and then, oh, this is fun, but I didn't have 20 years of a hang up of like, no, beer needs 4 ingredients, it's gotta be clear, I can't have lactose. These fucking psychos who will like get mad about it, but I also understand it because I feel like that in another genre of things. But it seems to have mellowed out. I think just maybe because we were around in the peak of the anger. And people were just, it was so divisive. And now it's kind of like, oh, name a brewery that doesn't have a slushy machine type of thing, you know? Like everyone's kind of going doing ridiculous shit. It's kind of like got to the point where it's like, whatever. So I think it's like a better place to be in, where particularly people like you can do a purple seltzer, cold purple seltzer, but then you do this exquisite Helles lager. And
I also feel like maybe part of it is also that the combo has moved off of Twitter/X now. Like that's where that's where it used to be, like that's where all of the fights happened. was on Twitter back in the day.
Yeah, if you want to see a productive conversation descend into chaos, put it on fucking X.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Elon, shout out to him. Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's funny how things change and sort of grow and sort of mold. But I do love that you guys still do the milk. Actually, I remember right after that last pod, we were talking so much. I think it was earlier in the year, like, and you just dropped the Shamrock one, and I managed to get that. I guess I came here, and I think Duran had it because that was like the mint one, right? Yeah. So sick. I loved it because now it's like you have a milkshake IPA, and I understand. You know, like it's not where they used to be, but now it's like this is fun. When
it's like and now it's like it's novelty
like
and even a little bit nostalgic, even though it wasn't that it wasn't that long ago. But it does still feel a little bit fun because because not everyone's making milkshake IPAs anymore.
Totally, I think it's also just like, yo, we're making beer. Yeah, we're making alcohol. We're not doing the Lord's work here. Let's not pretend like this is some fucking high scale business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're getting people drunk. Like, everyone just needs to fucking chill a little bit.
Preach.
Just enjoy it.
Preach, Cam. Oh,
I mean, you kind of are doing the Lord's work, I would say. That's amazing. With that, I'm looking at the time. Should we is anyone interested in a bathroom break? I forgot to tell you. I can pause this. We can all go to the bathroom real quick.
I could rock with a bathroom break.
Yeah, that might be nice.
All right, beautiful. We'll pause and we'll come back with a big dog. All righty,
boys, we're back.
We are back, and we're doing the scary one, which is not scary, really.
Doing exactly like we did last time, and like finishing with a 10% plus.
The final boss.
Yeah, the final boss.
Would it be a Willibald podcast if we did it? Is this your first barley wine?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
How do you feel about it?
I love it, honestly. Like it just kind of hits all the notes for me too. I'm a big coffee fan for sure, so it's definitely the main kind of backbone to it. But.
And the collab that this is with Prolog, is that a local roaster?
So
They're in Denmark,
Prolog is a roaster in Denmark. So
okay.
I when I'm not moonlighting as an alcohol nerd, I am moonlighting as a coffee nerd, and Prolog is one of my favorite coffee roasters in the world. I think that like their attention to detail and selection and sourcing coffee beans is like second to none. Their roasting is also obviously dialed, but honestly, like they have a couple locations in Denmark, but or in Copenhagen, but one of them is in the Vesterboro neighborhood, hence the name. And it's honestly the first time I've ever had it. I'm like, fuck, this is the best cappuccino I've ever had in my entire life. This is absurd. This shit should be illegal. So when we wanted to do something big, we wanted to do something for the festival. We wanted also for MBCC, that is, which is also in Copenhagen. We wanted to do something that had some like local resonance to it. And so I just reached out to Prolog and was like, yo, would you guys be down to doing a collab? And they were very down. So this was the result.
Well, that's amazing.
That's so sick. I know you're a coffee nerd like that. I think I'd probably even choose coffee over beer. I love it so much.
I hear you.
I would certainly say that Cee is more intense about coffee than he is about beer.
I don't think literally anything in life is better than an oat milk latte. I'd agree with that. It's the greatest feeling ever. So the fact that if you're saying that this is the best one you've ever had, this has me so intrigued, man. As far as like obviously the coffee in a barley wine is not something I've had before either, but just you're saying it's that good from the cafe. Fuck.
Are you sure you haven't? Or maybe you weren't really on the barley wine train at that point, but there was a Barn Cat barley wine with coffee. And the name of it is slipping my mind, but I'll find it and I'll text you after the fact once I think of it. But maybe you didn't.
I think they did it with Monogram coffee roasters.
That sounds right.
No, Cambridge. Right. Different Monogram.
Oh, Cambridge. Oh, different Monogram. Okay.
Yeah, so they actually had coffee blood at one point, but I think they're good now. I don't know.
They had coffee blood? What do you mean? Like, isn't they just?
Yeah, like I think they had some dispute over the name because it was the same name, just like slightly different spelling. One was Monogram with an I in the middle, one was with an A in the middle, I think. And so there was a little bit of like a who did it first type of thing. Yeah,
right.
Interesting, but no, I'm a barley wine convert over in the last maybe 3 years tops, 2 to 3 years. So I'm definitely a lot newer to it.
Me and Noah finally broke you down.
You did. You finally got me. And now, like I had some last night too, and I'm a huge fan. So I was very excited for this one, particularly just because this whole sort of approach to it. I haven't had many, like I had a barrel aged one last night. I've had some of that before, but I don't think I've had like, I don't know, pastry barley wines. I don't know if you call it that because it's got coffee in it and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like just all the adjuncts. So, boys, get that in.
Made it.
Cheers.
Made it. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I find coffee sometimes with some of these darker beers can be almost like red peppery.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm making this with my nose, but this one's mellowed a little bit.
Oh man.
Yeah. But the roasted notes in this are like right up my alley as like a coffee fan, and hopefully you guys feel the same.
Oh, dude!
Oh my god!
I need a second to take this in a little bit because this is unlike anything I've ever had before. This is like because look, if you're looking at it visually, you would probably say it's a stout or a porter.
Yeah.
Like so, but when pouring it, you can see that it is a barley wine color. My guess is that you.
Barley wines typically have more of like a caramelish color to them.
Correct.
And this one does appear like quite a bit darker. If you hold it up to the light, you can get more of like a reddish brown tinge to it, but it is darker than most barley wines for sure.
Did it use?
Yeah,
the coffee definitely did darken it a bit too. Like
how
it
did
was
you
definitely in that realm, but yeah.
How did you infuse?
It was like a long cold steep, essentially too.
With whole bean or crushed or
whole bean as well.
whole bean steep.
Like a boatload of it. Yeah.
Okay. And that colored? That was the color?
Like a little bit too. It kind of just like took it to that almost like black kind of color too. It was like quite dark amber before, but just kind of took it that final step there.
This is insane. Like it's like caramel coffee chocolate type of thing. And I wonder if the chocolate, tell me if I'm tripping out, boys, but is the chocolate because of the visual and I'm thinking stout, or is it like I'm actually getting a bit of the chocolate maybe as like a mix between the caramel of the barley wine and kind of the coffee vibes?
No, I think the like grain base is definitely going to lend that. I think you're also adding coffee, which is notoriously adding those kind of like dark chocolate notes, pretty much regardless of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a natural result for sure.
Yeah,
this is insane.
And I think
one of the best barley ones I've ever had. This is fucking crazy.
And like even with the like along with the coffee and that kind of bitter dark chocolate thing going on, like underneath that there's that like there's the kind of more barley wine flavors of like, you know, get a bit of like raisin and fig kind of thing going on. Like there's so many layers to this. This is just bananas.
And you know what's funny is, like, for me, and maybe not for you guys, but like at 11%, you just expect it to kind of just be like sweet and taper off, but it actually has like a crispness at the end, which is kind of weird.
You're right. It does. This is insane. It is like, I'm finding it hard to even talk about it just because I haven't had anything really like this before.
Yeah.
I was just looking on Untappd there. Someone was like, I hope they barreled some of this. Could you, is there anything you can say?
I wish I wish I had better news, but everything that we're enjoying is in can.
I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not possible for future batches.
For sure. For sure. I find coffee is so prone to coffee's so prone to oxidation too, right? Like coffee adding later is fine. Coffee adding now and aging would just be it would be terrible.
And it would have to be raw dog.
And you you mentioned that like how coffee can kind of give that like bell pepper thing going on, like almost a weird vegetal note to it. Like that's something that like our friend Noah, who you met at Mesarem, is like he's much more of a barley wine connoisseur than I am, but like and also more of a barrel-aged beer connoisseur than I am, and he's talked about that before. How barrel-aged beers with coffee can be much more prone to that kind of bell pepper vegetal note to it, which I find is really interesting. I've never I never really knew that before he kind of pointed that out to me and started being able to taste that. Sometimes it definitely comes out when coffee is added to a barrel-aged beer. I don't get that in this, but like sometimes if you look at like at like a Nickelbrook Cafe del Bastardo, which is a fantastic like coffee barrel aged stout, but like, you know, obviously varies from year to year, and there are some years where you get like a huge vegetal thing going on with it, just depending on how old it is. It's a fascinating thing how those flavors can manifest.
I find from my very limited experience playing with this, I find it's there's a couple of variables that play in. One is like roast age, roast level of the. I'm talking exclusively coffee here, and then I also find time, coffee time in beer. So like the amount of time the beer spends on coffee, and then also too the amount of time the beer sits undisturbed prior to drinking as well, whether that be tank, off coffee, or in can, is a huge factor, because I found that even some of our stouts, you try them and they're like super bell peppery, and then like you let them go for like 4 or 5 weeks, and it's like that's dissipated, and you just get like the roast, which is obviously what you want. But
Yeah.
Anyways, it's interesting.
Did you, being that like this was the first barley wine you've done, and you decided to put the coffee in it, did you get any? Was there any sort of learnings from that? Was there any sort of like I can't imagine there was any negative flavor outcomes? How old is this? This was only in April, so it's about 3 months old. So it's still pretty young as far as barley wines are concerned. Was there any sort of those type of things that you, like you just mentioned with stouts, that you got this, or was this basically fire from the rip?
I guess we could kind of talk about like we did actually go through like a selection process for the coffee itself too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, talk through that.
Super cool. Like we've got a bunch of different samples from Prolog, and then like we did like a little cupping with each one.
Nice.
I think it was 4 or 5 different types there, and they were super generous with just like sending bags over, like kind of maybe from their like core lineup up to like their super experimental stuff. So we ended up like picking a bean from Ethiopia, I'm pretty sure there.
You know what?
And kind
I
of
did say
just
that.
like, yeah, like just kind of lend itself to like the profile that we knew the beer was gonna go in that direction. So like we had a couple like really solid choices, but just kind of figured that this was like the best one that would kind of pair well with the base beer. Like we knew kind of what direction that one was going, and then this one just like really lent itself well to like that profile that we were looking for.
It says here Ethiopian Chelbessa, if that's how you say it.
Yeah,
That's sick. That's even cooler that you did like the cuppings and sort of, so when you did the cuppings with the coffee and the beer, like how did you figure out, like would you sort of like have the beer, sort of the raw beer, and then blended it sort of by hand or something? Or how did you know? Did you just taste the beer, then taste the coffee and go, I reckon that one's going to work?
No, we more so like we had a pretty good idea of what the base would be like. And for us, it was just like, what coffee do we think? Like we know like the malted notes that the barley wine itself, like the base beer, is going to provide, generally speaking. What is the level of complexity that we need to add to this to make this interesting, and to make it appetizing? So we sat and we tried coffees all pour over, and then we tried them again espresso to make sure that we were getting like the notes that we wanted, and that our palates weren't lying in one way or the other, and it was like kind of the same notes in each different type of bean, and then ultimately just committed. Like I think that we're obviously all still learning, but I feel like we have done this long enough where it's like, okay, like we have a rough idea of where this needs to go, and we just made the call. So maybe honestly, maybe it's a huge chunk of luck, but yeah, we just decided, like, fuck it, this is where we need to head, and that's it.
Beautiful.
The coffee was phenomenal too. Like some of the best beans I've ever had, for sure. We were super lucky to have some for sale, and we were just all like, that was like the best part of it for sure. Just having those ripping through the espresso machine, and yeah.
Are they still available? Or they got long gone?
The Vesterboro?
Yeah.
I think
the barley wine, because when I went, I think it was not last week, but the one before, you still had cans, but the coffee beans.
No, the coffee's gone, unfortunately. So we did bring in a select amount of bags of that same coffee that went into the beer to sell, so people could try like the coffee in a proper coffee adjacent to the beer. Hopefully someone out there who's as sick as us did that, but likely not. But either way, I hope they enjoy their coffee. But yeah, no, we just wanted to do it fun, and we wanted people to try it side by side to see like where those flavor profiles were coming, right? So
gotcha. Love that. That was sick.
Yeah, that's dope. It's funny, you're as you were talking about how like this place in Copenhagen, like Prolog, where you're saying this is like the best cappuccino you ever had in your life. I've never been to Copenhagen, but back in 2018, like I was in Lisbon, and there's a coffee shop in Lisbon called the Copenhagen Coffee Lab, and and that was like the best coffee I had in Lisbon and the best breakfast I had in Lisbon. It was so fucking good. And this is going back too far. I don't remember where they got the beans from. I don't know if it was from a Copenhagen coffee roaster. I have to imagine it probably was, if that's if that's how they branded it. But but something stuck out to me, and that is as you were telling that story.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in Denmark, but man, they got breakfast style then. Yeah, I don't know how else to say it. It's not fancy either. It's very to the point, but it is purpose built, and it is built for breakfast. I don't know. Yeah,
Damn,
it's really cool.
That's so fire. I was just looking at this Copenhagen.
I mean,
coffee, it looks fucking insane.
Oh yeah, it's wild,
dude.
Jesus, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, imagine having an entire pastry named after your country's ethnicity. It's got to be pretty fucking good. You got to be doing something right, no?
Yeah, no, dude. Like, I'm extra fascinated because Third Wave Coffee is from Melbourne, where I'm from. So, like, we invent my people. I didn't even like coffee until I moved to Montreal, if I'm going to be honest. But like I found out later that my people came up with that shit. I'm like, all right, good for them. But it's
coffee roasting in Australia, I feel like, is off the chain.
Yeah, it's bro. Every time I went back, my cousin does talks on coffee, so he took me to all the spots every time I go back, and I'm like this is crazy. And there's some places around that sort of import the Aussie beans and stuff, which is, and even one of them, Proud Mary, which is in Collingwood in Melbourne, they opened a second roastery randomly in Portland, Oregon. So then they've made their stuff a bit more available. The one thing I did learn, which I guess, since you're a coffee nerd there, and I imagine you are kind of into it too, Gordo, but one of the things in Melbourne, there's this place called Patricia, which is just this little small space in an alleyway, no seating, standing room only. They got 4 drinks on the menu. Everyone sits at Patricia Cafe. I forgot the name of the alleyway, and everyone sits outside in milk crates in the alleyway. 4 drinks, and when you go, they have sparkling water carbonated sparkling water on tap. So you rock up, say it's you and someone else, and they see you, like, cool, boom, boom, pour 2 waters. Here you go. What can I get you? Cool. Can I get a latte? And we get a little drip coffee. My cousin always got like a pour over, and then we got like I just let him order. I'm like, just whatever, bro. And like a little cappuccino latte, like boom. And he knew all the things. So we did the little trivia in the newspaper, like he's flirting with all the young girls there and shit. And it was just like, it's such a phenomenal experience because you walk in and you cleanse your palate with sparkling water, and then you're having this like exquisite coffee. And even when they sold their beans, it was in those like metal containers with the little sorry, not metal. Was it metal? Or like, if it wasn't a metal container, it was like a cardboard.
Those little tins,
the little tins with the little like metal lids where you pull it off and stuff. And it was just like this nice experience, even with the actual product when you bought beans to go, because I bought some to take back. And that to me is like the quintessential like Melbourne coffee. And there's a place in Toronto called Library, and the dude who owns that, they're a roastery, and he learned at Patricia, so he went there. And funnily enough, there's a place here in Hamilton called, when I know Joe lives in Hamilton, called One for All. The dude who owns that shop learned from the guy at Library in Toronto. So
cool.
Every time I come in now, I know him. He's like, "Yo, we were talking about it." He's like, "Yo, just let me know if you want the sparkling, I'll give you the sparkling before you get." I'm like, "Yeah, sick." So like, you can find the places that like take coffee that seriously, and it's like, oh, it's so good, man. It's just like, it's this different level of experience. And I guess coming back to say, it sounds like Copenhagen as a city has sort of adopted that, and sounds like it's got a bit of a rep for it, to the point where, as Nate said, or maybe you said, Cam, that there's a whole other I guess a business called Copenhagen Coffee Lab in another country, which is pretty sick. So it's like, it's fantastic that this even exists, and that you had that experience there. That makes me want to go there very, very much. That sounds so killer.
I mean, I mean, as beer and coffee people, if you guys haven't been to Denmark, it'll like,
I have not. Yeah.
I'm just, when you come back and you pick your jaws up off the floor, let's have a conversation because you guys will want to chat about it non-fucking stop because it is the best.
Oh no.
It is the best. Yeah, we should do a Denmark pod when you guys get back because honestly, like to unpack all that is like it's the best. Honestly, it's a really special place. Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I think the beer scene there is just fucking dialed, and just like I don't know, I just feel like Scandinavia, like they're just so hyper focused on like perfecting something that whether it's beer, whether it's coffee, whether it's X, Y, or Z, doesn't seem to matter. They just seem to spend the time to refine it. And if it's not worth the time, they don't even talk about it. Like it's just totally out of the periphery. Even it doesn't exist. So it's just a very different way of life than we have here. You know. So it's just cool to see. But yeah.
Bro, yeah, you've painted the picture. That sounds just exceptional. It's cool, and at the end of the day, I think it's even cooler that you guys were inspired by that and were able to bring a piece of that to Canada. And like this coffee and this beer it's perfection.
Yeah,
it's incredible. This is so exceptional. It's such a fantastic beer, and it's cool that's even like that's named after the neighborhood. I imagine there was a story behind it, so that was cool to hear that too. So it's like hopefully. I imagine this won't be the first barley wine, even if it's not another coffee barley wine, like even if it's a raw dog one or like, you know, something that's barrel aged or with some other fun adjunct as well. I mean, is that on the cards or since this is only a few months old, so I know. And it's obviously
well, I mean, Gordo and I, you know, we don't talk about barley wines a whole lot. You know, we won't lie. We spend a lot of time brewing IPAs and lagers these days, but you know what actually might be a great fit is if you guys came down and we brewed a barley wine.
You got us ready.
Okay,
sold. Seed.
Sold. Say less.
Not to tempt you guys, but I mean, if I'm gonna tempt you,
pre-tempted.
Say less.
We'll talk off air because I think we might even have a pretty cool, a fun idea to make that extra cool. And I feel like in Ontario, the barley ones are few and far between, but when they do come out, they're like A1 fire, and the people who appreciate it like really do. They might be maybe a little sluggish sellers, but fortunately, they got the legs to, you know, doesn't matter if they're a year old, sweet, they're good to go. Like, you know, probably even better. So it's I just love that you guys are doing this, and it's cool that I don't know. I feel like this has given more perspective on what Willibald really does as far as the beer, from like the the light sub 5 Helles that's just phenomenal that everybody's loving, that's selling in 12 packs, that you're thinking outside of the box that nobody here is really doing and really trying to take it to the next level, and then all the way up to something like this, which is just exquisite. It's so cool, boys. And like, you guys are really truly doing some of the best stuff in the province, if not the country and beyond. You guys should be proud as shit, man. It's so cool. I'm like huge fans. I feel like Nate and I are evangelists for Willibald. We're always telling people about
oh my god, yes,
about you guys and about things that you're doing. So we appreciate you both very much and everything that you guys are doing. And that's just the beer side, not even to mention the other stuff. I took my mother-in-law there. Was it this year or last year? That must have been this year. I don't remember, but we took her down, and that must have been last year, and she was just loving it. Like,
it was last summer.
Oh yeah, because you were there. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did the tour. Yeah, Gordo, of course. Dude. We did the tour.
Yeah, dude.
And like, yeah, even she, now when we went, she was like telling Tiff, like, make sure you get me this stuff. And she wanted the gin and tonic and some of the other stuff that, you know, specifically, I was like, you can take people there and you can convert, you know, even if they're not into beer, because I dragged her to beer places that she probably didn't care about, but you can go there, and I feel like you got something for everybody. And I just think it's like you guys have got it's almost like the perfect business model with everything that you're doing. And then once again, the food is A1 exceptional. Just killing it. You guys are the best, man. Yeah. Appreciate you guys a lot.
Thanks. We try. I mean, like, go ahead, Nate. Sorry.
No, Cam, please.
No, I don't think you need to listen to me anymore. Honestly, it's getting old at this point.
No,
But
man,
you know,
we just truly can't say enough good things about you, and we appreciate like you guys hanging out with us and like enjoying these truly spectacular beers. Like with you, like has just been an absolute treat as always. Like, and even just kind of seeing the growth of the business in the last 2.5 years, like since we last chatted. And we've both been like last year when we chatted, neither of us had been able to visit at that point. We've both been a couple of times since then. And it's just been an absolute treat to see what Willibald has become and kind of where it's going. And like, we can't say enough good things about you guys. We fucking love you.
facts.
Oh, thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
that a lot. Appreciate that a lot.
Super cool.
Thanks.
You guys, champions.
You know, honestly, we try our best and we try and brew as much beer as we can, but ultimately, like, you can only brew so much beer for yourself before someone else has to care. So we feel very fortunate that we have people like you guys who really champion the brand and like really help to push it forward, because honestly, our brand is almost solely built off of word of mouth, and we are forever grateful for people like you guys who actively want to spread the word willingly. It genuinely means a lot for myself and all the other guys here who put in a lot of hard work just to try and make something delicious. So thank you.
Yeah,
Man,
really appreciate it.
honor
guys.
and a pleasure.
Thank
You guys, yeah, man.
We're happy to do it.
You know, when things are the best, you want people to experience it, and you want those businesses to thrive and not just survive, but just like actually thrive. And it's awesome. I love that I can get it easy. I can either zip down for like, it's like 45, 50 minutes away to go down and have a fantastic experience, or I can go down to a place like Durand and get it, or you could order online, which I've done all three, and grab the stuff. So it's phenomenal. And my boy in Australia, Cam, he was posting it today, actually, the sap.
I saw that. We reposted it. We reposted it. I saw it. Don't worry.
And I got the other two bottles that no, that wasn't Sap Lord. It was the other one. What was it called?
Lonely Bones. Lonely Bones.
So I've got two bottles of Sap Lord for the same dude, and we just have to figure out how to get it to him because he had a friend who went to San Francisco. So I shipped it to San Francisco for him, and he took it back. So now he just needs another proxy. But
wild.
He's so stoked to the fact he bought two of those other bottles. So, and you know, I was pissed. I saw it. The maple, the barrel aged maple that was made. The use for the sap lord. I imagine you still got some, yeah? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Next time I'm going to come through, and I meant to grab it. I totally just spaced and didn't grab it before. But like barrel aged maple syrup is god tier, and it's extra cool that you guys even do that and then use those barrels to do the bourbon and stuff. It's a whiskey. It's fucking.
You have to christen the wood somehow, you know.
Yeah, I love it. It's genius. So to bring it on home, guys, where can everyone find Willibald online or in real life?
Yeah, drink Willibald, at drink Willibald, drinkwillibald.com, Willibald Farm Distillery. One cool thing that we didn't talk about actually, and like we don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but like we're opening a pizza shop this fall in Cambridge.
What? In Cambridge?
Dude,
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that at all, or is it all kind of little?
No, we can talk about it. This is the first time actually I think we've announced it publicly, so that's kind of cool.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Exclusive.
Yeah, you did. You did.
It is.
Please
300
expand.
It is 300 steps from
Yeah.
my house, so I'm super pumped.
Oh, it's gonna be dangerous, Gordo.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think we just like play off your strengths, and we found more and more people were coming out and enjoying the pizza, and we had this really cool space open up downtown Cambridge, right on the water. It was a really good location, and we thought the pizzas would be a good fit, and we're obviously always looking for a reason to spread the word of like all the liquids that we make. So it just felt like a good fit. So yeah, that's coming fall 2024. Let's go.
Okay.
Amazing.
Hell, is it going to be? Do you have a name that you can announce, or is it still hush?
Yeah. It's going to be called Willibald Pizza.
Well, perfect. I was going to say you want to keep the brand in there.
Nice.
Super simple.
I mean, man, our brand is like pretty straightforward. So I feel if we named anything else, it'd be almost sacrilegious at this point. So.
100%, dude. That's so sick.
And Cambridge is fucking dope. There's a lot of good shit in Cambridge. Like you've got you've got Wavemaker beer there. You've got Farm League. There's good things going on in Cambridge, and now you've got this fall you've got Willibald fucking pizza.
Ooh, it's blowing up right here. Let's go.
Love that.
Oh man, guys,
trying our best.
I love it. We're gonna have to do this again really soon and talk about that. That is so fun because Cambridge, I haven't even been out there in forever, and I want to get out there this summer to check it out. So that's great that it's that's coming in the fall. Is it? Do you have an approximate month, or is it? I know those things are kind of all dependent on permits and all that stuff, but you probably couldn't say the month. I imagine.
Yeah, being the second restaurant that I've opened, I know that things always take more than twice as long as you think. So the goal is October. We'll see where we end up.
Okay, we'll see where we go, but that's money, man, and that's awesome. That's gonna be huge for the brand, and obviously, I imagine all Willibald products will be pouring vigorously and aggressively.
We'll have some other fun stuff too. We're not gonna be that brand whorish, Gotta mix it up a little bit.
But there's kind of nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be mad if you did, because you've got something for everyone. It's a beautiful.
I know, but just if I don't have Campari on soda in a pizza shop that I own, I'm like, the part of me will die inside. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the Italian in me speaking out, but I gotta, So we'll see.
That's fair.
I respect it. Maybe Aperol. Is it Aperol? Apero? How do you say that word?
Aperol.
Yeah.
It is Aperol.
Yeah, you got it.
Isn't that Italian? No, or is it? Or is that from somewhere else?
No, it is. It is. Yeah, it's Italian too.
Okay. Is that associated with pizza or not quite?
I mean, anything can be associated with pizza. That's the beauty of pizza.
Fucking point. Maybe even a coffee barleywine. Let's go. I love it. Boys, stick around afterwards. We'll wrap up, we'll chat, and also the videos and stuff need to upload. It's the way the software works. But guys, thank you seriously so much for I know once again it was we did a few reschedules, and thank you both for making the time to hang out and chat for damn near 3 hours. I know we're at our upper end of the limit there. But,
no, it's okay. But you know what? We're coming in just at the time limit. We're delivering on what we promised time wise.
As agreed, we didn't want to mislead anybody. That's what we're here for.
Thank you both so much. This has been a genuine treat.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Nate, Cee, thanks for having us. Honestly, so sick.
Anytime. Let's do this annually. We didn't intend to wait 2.5 years, so it'd be sick to do this every at least once a year and just catch up. And obviously, there's a lot happening. So by the time if we do this again next year, there's going to be a whole pizza shop to be talking about. So
yeah. And a barley wine collab.
And a barley wine. Let's go.
Damn fucking right.
We're going to talk about that in 30 seconds. So guys, stick around. Let's just wrap this up. Thank you again, guys. Everyone, thank you so much. I can't even talk because I'm having a coffee barley wine. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit that notification bell. Nathaniel.
Ding.
So you know when the new dude drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast, at Nathan Does Beer. Check out the long form audio, Spotify, everywhere. We got the video up there now. It's a beautiful thing, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.